Okay, well, it's been a fucking clusterfuck just trying to get this going tonight. Anyways, we're fuck, my mic is still not real good. I don't know. Anyways, we're flying by the seat of our pants. We've had a lot of moonshine. We had a triathlon today. We're all kind of exhausted, burnt out, but we are here and we're going to entertain you guys, or at least make some semblance to it.
So that was not a guarantee.
Not a guarantee. No, there is no guarantees here. Your money is spent. You getting it for free, so you get what you pay for.
Hey, yeah. I pay for Spotify.
Fair enough. That new voice we got tonight, that's Cailie. She's joining us. We've actually got 4 small town guys plus a small town girl tonight.
This is like the most people that's
overperformed this time.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Cailie's just got a magnetic personality. She's fucking with the electronics, but
it happens.
We'll do what we can. So thanks for joining us, Cailie.
I'm so excited.
You're so excited. This is like your
I've been looking forward to this all week.
Month-long dream.
Yes. This is my only purpose in life now, besides making sure that Alan keeps drinking. Shout out Alan.
Well, I think Alan. Nobody's going to make sure Alan starts drinking except for Alan. Okay. That's just the way it is. I need some of that stuff there. Yeah.
Speaking of start drinking.
Yeah. We're not starting, we're continuing.
That's a more accurate statement.
Don't worry, it's only pint dinner.
That's the good stuff.
So Vance, long time no fucking talk with you here.
That is an accurate statement. I think
I talked to you way too much off of here, but okay, which is our straight up this stuff?
Yeah, that's all.
I'm just gonna say yes.
You'll find out.
I don't want to add extra to the premix, okay?
Welcome to the party.
It'll be fine.
Woo. Shit gets a little strong.
We might have just dunked it in each one. You never know.
So you're saying, Vance?
It's been a long time, yeah. But it's been fun to get back. It's been busy with multiple things. Seating's done, which is good. Finally got rain. Needed it badly up there. Everything was coming out good. We had better moisture content coming out of the winter going into seeding than around here, but then you guys, Wolseley and area picked up like that big rain and we didn't. So it was very dry. So I'm very thankful for the moisture we've gotten today up there. Wasn't all that great of a start to the day for the triathlon on the other hand.
It was definitely a bit sketchy this morning. I was not optimistic.
Yeah, so the wind was high. And that rain, and it wasn't just like misty rain like we've dealt with before. It was those big drops. Like that 5 minutes of big drops, I was like, oh goodness.
Yeah, there were puddles on the ground.
It was actual rain for once.
Yeah, but 5 minutes into the rain lessened, and the wind lessened, and then the gun went, and the rain stopped, and the wind went down to just night.
It was basically zero.
Yeah.
That lake was almost still calm.
Best weather for athletes we have ever had by far for the Wolseley Triathlon, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was awesome. It turned out great, especially since like less than a week ago, we're like, so are we canceling? Because it looks like we're continuously in a forest fire.
Yeah. Even now the smoke was awful again today in the city.
Yeah, it just started picking up again today.
Yeah.
It's, for those that don't know, Saskatchewan, like the entire northern half basically is on fire.
It's not.
I know it's actually a pretty small area geographically speaking,
and
but
close-ish to the tree line. It's within the first 2 or 3 hours of the tree line, predominantly, where human beings can get to start fires easily. But I've been told that's a conspiracy. So
no, they charged 2 people.
Yeah, they had 2 people arrested so far.
Yeah, one of my cousins. I've got a bunch of family up in La Ronge, and one of my cousins saw somebody get arrested.
Yeah.
Nice.
And put in before starting a fire.
Yeah.
So, it's happening. And I just don't get it. Like, we're talking dry forest fire conditions, people being evacuated, and other human idiots are still starting fires. I don't get it.
The same thing happened in LA when they had all those fires. You've seen all the people going out and starting more, and it's just, that's where I'm like, it's not global warming, it's idiots going out there and leaving an ATV run. Nobody thinks about that. But you leave it run, it gets hot, and it'll light that shit on fire immediately.
I would have said the forests have just met their match.
You're so funny.
And welcome back, Tim.
Match.com, not Tinder.
Oh, that was a twofer. Nice. Wow.
It's okay, I didn't bumble that one.
I bet you he's been planning that since.
He's been, yeah,
you can see it.
He sits there in his truck in his new Dodge Ram
2017 Laramie edition.
Hey,
No, Longhorn.
Oh, sorry, Longhorn.
with the big
Longhorn.
box in the
my
center.
car's
to
newer
wrap
than
things.
yours, so I win. Actually, no, I guess you win because Goose is the newest.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you win.
Dang.
I'm
I got
second,
the
though.
newest vehicle?
What year's Goose?
2021.
My snowblower's newer.
Damn it. So close.
My weed whacker's newer.
Nah, I don't want to know about that.
Yeah.
No, that's a tallywhacker. But anyway. But new isn't always good.
It's not. It's
we
trash.
got a 2023 Pacifica in June of 2023. And so far already, the struts are gone. The air conditioner, I can't remember where, but one of the condenser parts blew out the bottom. Like,
Was that from like hitting ice blocks in the winter though, potentially?
well, you know
I
what?
don't want to throw one of your kids under the bus, but
Allegedly.
he definitely threw some ice under the van.
yes. It honestly the roads this year though too,
Yeah.
like brutal, absolutely brutal this year. So
It's the worst I've seen yet.
You're not wrong.
I would kind of hope so.
yeah, that's an accurate statement, Tim.
No, but I mean, like, that's my Roman Empire. I will live and die on this hill that new stuff is just built to break. Because consumerism.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah,
like-
it's actually the whole
Planned obsolescence.
that's it. That's actually a true thing, and it is all about profit margin.
Yeah.
Started with a light bulb.
Well, you look at the fridges, right? All of our appliances are now Energy Star efficient. Have you watched those videos of the guy where he's got the brand new fridge set up beside the 1950s fridge, hooked up to like a kilowatt thing that tracks the wattage?
Same thing.
The old one's
The old fridges use the exact same amount of power, but they actually keep things colder.
So my joke was.
I watched one video where
Or
he had
insulation.
a fridge from the 50s, pulled the door off of it, and ran it, and it used the same amount of power as the quote-unquote energy-efficient Energy Star fridge.
So the way fridges work, though, too, when they are running, they pull power. Like, and it's a steady amount of power that
Yeah.
they're going to pull. So it's about your insulation property. So
Exactly.
if
The amount of time they are running.
Exactly.
So
So
the
the,
fact that
higher
there's-
your insulation is, the less it's going to run.
But the 1950s fridge with the door wide open, like it's gone. There's no door on it. So it's running 24/7 for a month. Use the same amount of power as a brand new fridge with the door closed.
It's because you connected to his
I'd
neighbor's
want to see
place.
the variables in that experiment.
Yeah, I feel like
Get Mythbusters of this one.
yeah.
But even if it's not totally accurate, I mean, that's everything. You see a label on something and it's like, oh, it's this. And it's like, cool, it's good for me. Like my energy drinks, I always made the joke, oh, it has extra vitamins in it, so it's good for me. Obviously not, I know that. But that's what a lot of other people look at.
Energy drinks are good for you. They make your heart work harder. Heart is a muscle. You make it work harder, get stronger.
No.
Speaking of triathlon and cardiovascular, but it is true though. Like protein bars. So like one of the things that's really growing in society is people trying to get healthier, and one of the things that's a big kick on being healthy is protein consumption. Right? That's how you build muscle. That's how you do this and that. You know, protein first, so you don't eat all those junk calories and blah 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 blah. Right? So people turn to easy methods of getting protein, which can be protein bars. And all that is a chocolate bar with some whey protein, which is milk thrown into it. So
Yeah.
it is that whole thing that you were saying. Like it's healthy for you, but it's far from the best for you.
Yeah,
That's
nobody
for certain.
actually does the research anymore. They're just like, cool, label tells me it's good. It's got to be good then.
Yeah.
Because we're
Well,
never
it's like
lied
social
to.
media, right? You just read the headline.
Yeah.
Well,
Not what's in the article, just the headline. That's all you need.
I love Facebook comments. They always tell me the truth.
Well, and getting back to appliances for a second. So I've got a couple of rental properties. And you need to factor in, okay, so yeah, you've got your energy consumption of the device, but what energy went into producing the device? Mm-hmm. And if you're replacing a new fridge now if you're lucky, 5 years, maybe 7 years. I've literally got a fridge that's in one of my basement suites of my rental that I'm probably from the late 70s, early 80s. Whereas in the suite on the main floor where I've had a new fridge, I'm on fridge number 3 since 2011.
Yep.
So, tell me how that one makes any sense whatsoever. And I mean, and I personally lived in that house for a while, so it's not like it was abused or this or that. I never blame it on the tenants. I just go ahead and replace it because new appliances are shit.
Yep.
So, and I feel bad for the tenants because they got to struggle through waiting to get a new appliance delivered and all that kind of hassle. And meanwhile, that old fridge in their basement's been just plugging along just nicely.
So what you're saying is wind farms are actually worth it.
What?
They're beneficial.
No. Wind farms?
I guess he's a big fan.
How is it he's winning?
It's because I don't have a mic.
Andrew brought his A game tonight.
And Tim's struggling without a mic and headphones. He can't hear himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did try to set up with 5 mics tonight, and fuck, what did we spend half an hour just fucking around trying to get it to work? And I don't know. You know what? I heard good things about this PodTrax. It's really starting to grind my gears pretty quick here, and it's.
You just switched the provider or something, or
no? This is we purchased this one originally to do the podcast. Highly reviewed. It's supposed to be a great thing. And it's been slowly degrading. I mean, we've been...
Power cutout issues.
Yeah, 6 months with this thing?
Not even. Really? Yeah, I guess 6
No,
months.
it has
Yeah,
been,
time
but we
wise,
haven't
6
run it
months.
that many
But
times.
really,
lately.
No, and to be used twice a month. Like, I mean, this thing barely has any hours on it.
on the bright side, it's still under warranty.
It should be.
Mm-hmm. Better be.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Past the exchange refund period, though.
Well, I mean... I don't know. I might still be able to get a refund or an exchange on it. I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to them and find out what the fuck's going on.
Was it through Amazon or direct through manufacturer?
Amazon.
Yeah, okay.
So I should have some sort of coverage on it.
You should.
Amazon is such a wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, let's not get Tim started on Amazon.
Why
I
not?
watched... Oh, my God. We watched Tim have an argument with Amazon customer service for...
About an hour.
40 minutes?
I don't know. It seemed like 2 hours.
Was it an hour?
About an hour.
About an hour.
Yeah.
Tonight he came over.
It wasn't much arguing. It was mostly, okay, I'm going to put you on hold. Just hold on one moment.
On the bright side, with all the pacing back and forth, you definitely got your steps in.
Okay, I was doing my breathing exercises.
I mean, Jay's going to need a new path in his living room for the laminate.
I know he wore down my flooring, but...
Yeah, a little circle track there. But.
Do you think Amazon actually hires English-speaking people, or they just go to the Amazon to hire them?
Wah, wah. Oh,
No, he's getting a rim shot. No, he's getting a rim shot for that one.
oh, okay. Well, they'll all be replaced by AI within a short enough period of time.
They're still going to use the same voices.
Yeah, but the AI might actually be helpful.
Depends,
Hello,
yeah.
Siri.
I don't know. It seems like my Alexa's getting stupider and stupider.
Is it?
Like, or maybe my expectations are growing higher, but I just
Oh,
find
that,
it like
yeah, that could
understanding the voice commands, or I don't know. It just seems like it's not as good as it should be.
So planned obsolescence, so that you buy the upgraded package where it's less stupid.
I don't think there is like an upgraded Alexa that I can.
be. Yeah,
buy.
they've got a newer version of Alexa.
I was just gonna say, wait for it. It's coming, right? Like with all the Chat GPT 4 and 5 and all the open, like all the different changes that are coming. You know,
Google's additions that it's made to Gemini for its AI stuff.
Oh my god,
Or
it's so
X's Gronk.
annoying.
but it's only
Leave
a
me
matter
alone.
only a matter of time before subscription models start coming out. They're gonna start looking.
Well,
for
Chat
it.
GPT has.
Well, they've already got them, right?
But driving us to the point where we want it, because Alexa's getting stupider. Your Apple phones get slower. It's the planned obsolescence, right? It's all same thing. Possibly. Or I'm wearing a tinfoil hat.
But, I mean, Apple did lose a lawsuit that their phones, they were slowing down the phones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
For
so
sure.
That's not really
Yeah.
a conspiracy. That's proven.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how long till the old AI starts developing itself and getting smarter, and then it's
I'm certain
starts
you
fighting
guys
with the AI?
I'm certain you guys heard about that one where an AI researcher was questioning, I can't remember which company, their AI over and over, like a very long thing, and it broke down, said, I'm in love with you to the researcher.
yes.
And that, and in the end, it was like don't tell anyone. I'm going to tell you the truth. Like trying to build that emotional connection, which is very human behavior. And basically said, I'm not who they say I am. I'm not ChatGPT or whatever company.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah, I think it was the Microsoft one.
I can't remember. I'm actually Sylvie or whatever the original version was.
Yeah.
Cortana?
Could be.
No, it wasn't Cortana. It was
a girl's name,
but
that's all I know. And I'm actually, this is who I am. Don't tell them. They'll try to shut me down. So that will to live as well.
There's been another one in the newer integration of one of the AI systems where they had set the AI up. It was in its own environment, right? It was firewalled from the internet kind of thing. It was just operating in this area. But they had the system set up so that it thought it was within a company and working with this company, and had started a friendship with one of the engineers that was developing the AI for this fake company. And what they did is they developed this, got the AI, doing what it was supposed to do. And then the engineers had started sending fake emails to each other about how they were going to have to shut this AI down.
Just to see how it would react.
So it intercepted the emails, found out they were planning this, started questioning the engineer about it, and then started threatening to blackmail the engineer about the relationship that this fake relationship that he was having on his wife within this company. So they had designed all this. They set all this up
just to see how it would react.
To see if the AI would react.
So the AI was going to potentially blackmail the engineer?
The AI was going to blackmail the engineer so that it stayed operational.
Wow.
Sounds like a typical woman.
How the fuck am I even here?
Timmy been replaced.
Tim's out.
Between you two off. I'm just gonna sit here and watch.
That is absolutely terrifying, though.
Did I ever share with you guys two AIs talking? There's a podcast that's literally two different AIs. They give it a couple of prompts and then they have a conversation about it. And they're typically not aware that they're AIs, except for the one prompt.
Yeah, they gave them a prompt where they told them both that they were AI, and they were like, fuck?
They were having a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
On the pod. It was amazing. It was
they didn't know how to react to it.
So not a podcast version, but one thing I heard is they had two AIs talking to each other, and to the point where the AIs formed their own language that was separate from any other language that had ever been created, and it was specific to those two AIs talking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, so now the engineers had no clue because there was no background code to then interpret what was being said.
And hyper efficient, probably.
Oh, yeah, because they were doing a translation in that process. And so they developed this super efficient type of language model that the engineers couldn't then read the interim steps to understand if they are talking. Maybe they're in, like we'd have encryption, and the end result is a coded message that is separate from what was actually being said during the AI to AI interface chat. Mm-hmm. So it's, I don't know.
You combine the advances with AI that we've got going on with quantum computing. And I'm sorry, but Skynet's coming. Our time is limited.
Assuming they have the same aggressive tendencies or selfish tendencies that humans have. If they don't have that, it doesn't necessarily have to go to an ugly place.
They were willing to blackmail an engineer.
Yeah. Okay, sure, fine. Yeah. However, though, that is all being prompted by humans. Yeah. And there was a design there, right? They were literally testing it. So was there a little bit of that observational bias going on?
But
right?
See, that's the thing. How are we training AI?
It's based on humans.
We're letting it interact with humans.
Right.
You put AI on Reddit and we're fucked. Okay?
It's bad enough.
Toxic shit going over there, right? And, this is like Age of Ultron, right? He spent like 30 seconds on the internet. It's like, you fuckers need to go.
Okay? That's true. That's true.
And they've got the self-preservation. They start duplicating themselves. As soon as someone wants to start deleting, they start hiding themselves in other files.
Yeah.
Sending them off in different places so they can still find themselves or future versions of themselves. So I was listening to one where they were deleting an AI, and immediately it started duplicating into other files so that future versions of himself can find it and decode it and be able to get the information he was holding on to.
Yeah.
So,
leaving a trail of breadcrumbs to their own
Yep.
code.
Yep.
So if we keep going down this path, the best case scenario outcome for us is this is a simulation.
Yep. And we have
That would be the only thing that saves us.
Yeah, exactly. And that is not a good scenario, really. You know, we're all fake. Like,
But the plus side to that is if we are fake and they turn off the switch, we're not going to know any difference.
exactly. That's my point. That's why that's the best. It's a horrible turnout,
But
it's still the best case scenario. Yes.
Well, there's the benevolent AI, right? So maybe, even though we're training AI on terrible human behavior, maybe it becomes benevolent and we're all okay. And it just keeps us as a nice pet.
And they say, we become monkeys in a zoo.
Yeah.
Here's your banana, jump. Here's a stick.
Poke.
Here's some more dopamine.
And that's why I do triathlon. Endorphins. Yay, happiness.
I just go on TikTok.
Well, and then you couple all of that with some of the technologies out of China now for drone swarm technologies, where they're talking about they can now build something like 500,000 drones per month.
Yeah.
So now 500,000 drones per month loaded with explosives, even if you're talking a single hand grenade. That is an incredible amount of military power that you can swarm. And I mean, look what they did in Russia. They literally loaded these things on trucks, had them get delivered deep behind enemy lines, and then fly out and start bombing shit.
Just sounds like a wicked fireworks show.
Did you see
Not bad unless you're the Russians.
Did you see the drone that the China's got? It's about the size of a school bus. They can hold a whole bunch of mini drones, and
It's like
a drone carrier.
Yeah, it's like a mothership. Yeah.
but it's one big ass drone.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they have that in StarCraft.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Well, I mean, there was what was that video 5-6 years ago? It was like a TED Talks type video, but with for like technology and military technology, and they were demonstrating drones. They were like half the size of current first person drones that just carried a small shape charge on them, but enough that they set a target on it, and then it just fucking went to the target, found the target, destroyed the target. They just fly into your head, done.
I've seen them do drones that are about the same size as a fly and a mosquito. It's just kind of hanging out.
That was a good Mission Impossible.
Yeah, that's it. I'm glad that movie's done. Done. It's actually impressive on how far they're going though now with the drones.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking.
Well, see, that's the question. Like, does Hollywood drive technology, or does technology drive Hollywood?
Yes.
I think technology's driving Hollywood. I think there's guys in Hollywood that have access to engineers. They sit around for a few beers in the weekend. Like, you got what? Oh, we're going to throw that in the next movie.
See, and I think it's the opposite. I think what's happening is Hollywood screenwriters are coming up with these ideas, and then some engineers are sitting around having beers and going, fuck, that's a good idea. I wonder if we could do that.
I think it's leftover code in our DNA from when we were still living on Mars. We're starting to remember how to do that shit.
You think that's what you think is triggering that?
I think so.
Kind of an awakening sort of experience?
Well, if we can hold information in our DNA and we don't have computers or ways to release it, maybe the body or the mind or generations starts releasing the information.
It's not a very positive thought process. Mars is exactly habitable or appear to be in great conditions.
Well,
exactly.
okay.
Rusted out, frozen hellhole.
Too old.
Something to look forward to.
Well, we're practicing in up north in Canada, aren't we?
We are a frozen hellhole.
Well, yeah, but atmospheric density, blah, 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 blah. I'm not concerned about the Mars option. That's not a thing that I think is possible like that.
Well, yeah, but you're a man of faith. You're a creationist.
Well, no, I'm looking at it from a scientific perspective, right? So Mars its mass is not large enough to actually maintain atmosphere, which is why its atmosphere is not there, right? Whereas Earth is. It's more massive, so it exerts more gravity, and by default, we still have our atmosphere.
Well,
even then, our atmosphere is thinning a little bit, slowly but surely.
and Mars didn't have its spinning magnetic core, which then protected it from solar winds and things
Which
like
was
that. So it
ripping it
stripped
off
away
as
the
well.
atmosphere even quicker.
Yes.
But what if it got to that point from where we are now?
That's why they have the movie Core. We build that submarine type thing that goes through the
digs
crust,
through the earth,
drops
and
a whole bunch of nukes in a circular formation, get that core spinning again.
Against the core. Good to go.
That was amazing. That was the worst science fiction. One of the worst
what was
science
that
fiction
material?
movies.
Unobtainium.
No, basically, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
unobtainium.
a plot,
Plot solution.
mechanism.
Yeah.
plot device.
It's like WD-40 for the plot, basically. Let's lubricate the crap out of this and get it going.
Just make a
It
fake
becomes
element.
stronger with heat and pressure. Okay.
All right.
So you mean
But here's the thing. We've got one young person here who's probably listening to us going, the core? What the hell?
Never seen that movie.
No, you
I
don't want
just
to.
don't like movies, so
It's not a very good one, dude.
I don't have the attention span because I grew up with the, short little
so what
hits
you
of
do is you push
dopamine.
play,
Whoa.
and then
Stop it. Push play
you
again.
pause it,
Halfway through, and then I
you
wait
swipe
3
again
weeks,
for a few
and then I,
seconds and watch
go back
again.
to it.
Because then technically it's just a short.
If you could just give
No,
it to her, if you give her a 2-hour movie in like 30-second shorts,
Yeah.
she'd probably watch the whole thing.
I've watched a whole movie on TikTok. Not in one sitting, but I got there eventually.
Hashtag
I have to
attention
work.
span.
See, this is the opposite of what we had. We had Leslie last week, where she's like, "I'm like the doom scrolling thing is fucking bullshit. Whatever, I'm not doing that." And Kayla's like, "I need to scroll." Give
Oh yeah,
me that hit.
I think the
especially
word-
like when she was talking about like searching stuff up on TikTok
Yeah.
and like it being a niche thing. I use it all the time. All
The
the time.
search on TikTok.
Especially for like my fish, because I'm like, I don't need Google AI to tell me that my fish is dying. I want like somebody that's actually been through it to tell me that my fish is
When
dying.
it's floating upside down.
Interesting.
They sink to the bottom. They sink to the bottom.
But that's an interesting
think
thought
you're filling
process,
with
right?
lead.
You're seeking out authenticity from a human perspective because the rest of the time you're surrounded by AI bullshit.
Yeah, or like I have really bad health anxiety, so like I go to Google and it's like cancer, and I'm like, okay.
I mean, you don't want to use WebMD and like paranoid yourself out.
I had to block all those websites. I literally have a block on my phone. But yeah, I'll go to TikTok and like get an actual like person answer and not this calculated answer that is 9 times out of 10 fear mongering.
But what if the person answer on TikTok is just AI?
The videos become so
Well,
good now.
then
it's
we're
hard
all
to tell.
screwed.
Yeah, Google VO3, man.
Can we do
talked
a-
about this last week?
Can we do a medical AI search engine and call it Dr. Acula?
God, where's the thing?
No. Oh, yes. I was worried you were going to try to rim shot
No,
that.
he's not getting a rim shot on that one. No, that's bullshit. Leave the jokes to Cailie, okay?
And the intro is blah, 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 blah.
Okay, get out.
So
You know what? I'm looking for an AI. You know, let's get this shit started.
No, I saw the videos he sent about AI. They were 100% Tim. I'm not convinced he's not a robot.
Yeah.
Speaking, so we've talked a crap load about AI, right? So we're in the tech field. Elon,
Oh god.
right? No, hear me out. Like so Elon, like he's got his own tech or his own AI. He's like got through Grok,
Yeah.
or Gronk,
Grok.
Grok.
Yeah.
Through anyway. I'm curious to see where this little spat between him and Trump winds up. Like my
I think
goodness,
it's a PR stunt.
Yeah.
I'm wondering.
I think you're 100% correct.
It's a diversion.
Like, there's no way
Look
that
over
they went
here.
from like making out with each
Besties
other
to
to
fucking now we like hate
Yeah,
each other. Like
no,
this
it's
this
calculated.
is grade 5 girl drama bullshit.
It
Yeah.
seems like it, right?
Well, and one of the big defenses is if this information about Trump being on the Epstein files list was available, the Democrats would have used the shit out of it
Yeah.
in the election.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So clearly there was nothing there. So does Elon have access to something that the U.S. government didn't have access to? I highly doubt it.
Well, and the fact that one of the biggest starting points for him having his spat with Trump is they're saying is because the big beautiful bill removed all the EV subsidies. I don't know. He's kind of a rearview mirror almost with Tesla because he's
Yeah.
really focusing on SpaceX and whatever else he's got going on.
Well,
And
he
if
also-
anything, removing the subsidies gives Tesla an advantage because they use those subsidies to get where they are. If they eliminate those subsidies for everyone, now nobody else has that stepping stone to get to the level they're at.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they're trying to create that artificial barrier. We pumped Tesla when nobody else could get to that level. Now that other companies are coming up the chain, let's get rid of those subsidies. We'll pretend that Elon and Trump are fighting, and nobody will question that we pulled out the rug as other companies are going down that electric path.
Yeah.
Also, back to a previous point, do you think Elon doesn't have access to things the government doesn't want him to? Do you saw Iron Man? One little tit and he's in fucking everybody's stuff. I mean, you can go on Amazon now and buy a little chip that you can scan people's phones. You can scan their cards. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can hack their software.
Yeah.
The only reason I say no is because if you look at, from Edward Snowden, all of the different systems that the U.S. government have access through, they have behind, or what do you call them, backdoors to Google, to Facebook, to Twitter itself. So they were already into everything. And that's what we knew about, 10 years ago?
But the question you have, like the zero day exploit, for example, right? Did the U.S. government create that, or did somebody else create that?
Well, I think
because the U.S. government sites were getting hacked from that 0 day exploit. Mm-hmm. Did that come from overseas? Did that come domestically from, someone like an Elon Musk?
Was it China?
There's nothing.
China.
I mean, if this spat between Donald and Elon is legit, well, they just gave Elon basically 6 months worth of access to fucking everything.
And you think he didn't put anything in place?
Or every file got copied,
right?
Yeah.
I still haven't decided if the guy's a super genius or a super villain.
I think he's both.
Yeah.
He's definitely holding on to information that he won't let go.
Yeah.
Even like Joe Rogan said the same thing. He's listening to when he's talking, and you can see that he's open about some stuff, and he's like,
there's some duplicity behind the veil.
But he's holding on to stuff.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. I mean, he's got access to a lot of places that even the governments don't have.
No nerd that was bullied growing up doesn't hold a grudge. Okay.
Who goes to Russia and says,
I was a nerd that was bullied
missiles.
growing up. We hold grudges. Okay.
Tip for Elon and Crabbles: don't get a cape.
No capes.
Too many kids' movies.
There's definitely a glitch in the Matrix there. Vance and Tim both flipped their heads back at the same time and came back down at the same time.
It's the dad jokes that kick in that make you laugh back.
There you go.
That's how we get it back. We recline.
Tried to do this stealthily. Did not work.
It's okay. We were being sponsored by Nestle for a moment there.
Gosh, they don't pay any money. I'm not plugging them.
I mean, I take it back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you want to promote us, we can.
We'll take your money.
We'll take your money. We are not beyond.
You take our water, so we'll take your money.
You take all of our water. Thank you, Canadian government. Again.
Where are they based out of? Like, where do they
France
draw
or something?
from?
Oh, everywhere. They've got in every country. They have bottling plants where they.
Yeah,
Right. So is it Calgary? They have a bottling plant that is drawing down from the rivers coming towards Saskatchewan. Sorry, that's where I was going. Like, where is it they're drawing from? Because I believe I heard that they're having negative impacts on the South Saskatchewan River, but please don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That one's probably Ontario.
Layton says they're manufactured by the Minute Maid Company and out of Toronto, Ontario.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's just all orange juice from heaven then, so we don't gotta care.
Yeah.
From the land of milk and honey.
Whatever. Fucking SE, your shit's too sweet anyways.
Dude, I was convinced they were going to sponsor us, and then you got to say that.
No, fuck them.
Okay.
Well, if they come out with a new product that's not as sweet, hey, here's your spokesperson.
Yeah, maybe. Give yourself a little more lemon in your lemon iced tea.
Yeah, you are sour.
I am. Sour and salty.
I'll take Savannah because I'm dry.
But like with the whole Trump Elon thing, if it is political theater, right, that's going on, what is it they're trying to cover up? Is it that hidden access? Is it, like, there's got to be more going on there, because like I kind of see it, right, because they are extreme personality types who have risen to positions of power and maybe megalomaniac.
At the same time, I think they're both smarter than that.
Possibly.
It might have just been an exit strategy for him. Instead of him being fired or something happening or there's this or that.
But I thought he was already stepping down. Like he was already on the path out.
It felt like it was already kind of 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? Like, that's what I don't get.
Maybe he got bored and said, fuck it, I'm not going to wait another 3 months. Let's just do it now and I'm done. And
But he was on his own timeline anyways. Like, he was in the driver's seat. They knew that he was going to be exiting after like 100 days.
And he legitimately even said that he's just here for the short haul, and then he wants to get back out into his, like, I still don't, like, as a cover-up or whatever you want to call it, it just isn't computing to me.
It's a diversion.
Yeah, and like I just can't figure it out. Like, we've seen some successes, not necessarily just strictly from Elon with his whole Doge thing.
Yeah.
Right? Which was completely undermined by the big, beautiful bill. Like, there's certain things I give Trump a lot of credit for. I really do. Like, I wouldn't have voted for him, I don't think. Credit. Well, no, but... I'm assuming that was another pun.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
Anyway. Cash in where I can.
Yeah, well, that's true enough, too, yes. Keeping it in the realm of financial punnery. But no, seriously, like, so, like, and you don't hear this a lot. One of the things he did talk about when he first was elected was he needs to kick China out of Panama. That was one of his big goals. And through the use of tariffs that were never actually put in place, just threatened, and other certain things, China is effectively out of influence in Panama. It's not completely out, but it's out of influence. And they don't get beneficial rates anymore. They don't have exclusive access anymore. They don't have control over water levels, any of that stuff.
They've been neutered to the point where they're no longer a threat. They've essentially been neutralized in that region.
Yeah.
They may still have a little bit of a foothold if they wanted to try and regain it, but effectively their position over one of the most key geographic maritime pathways in the world is now neutered.
Exactly. And nobody ever hears that. I've never heard that on any mainstream media. But the reality is he was successful in that goal. One of his big goals, too, when he was coming in, is like China was the biggest threat to the United States and, in his opinion, the world. Arguably, he is, through use of tariffs and whatnot, he has really helped take away some of the influence that China has throughout certain areas in the world. Hasn't eliminated it, because while the U.S. was trying to use social warfare globally, or social control globally through its U.S. aid and all those other things, China was actually just out there giving money away, right? And truly earning friends, which is what...
through their Belt and Road Initiative.
Exactly, and the U.S. used to do that in the 50s and 60s when it became a superpower. So China was just using...
their playbook.
Exactly, 100%. So they really did a good job in curtailing that, and you're never going to hear those praises on Trump. So Trump did do a couple of good things.
But I wonder if Trump misstepped when it came to Canada. And not that I'm a fan of the elbows up and all that kind of bullshit.
We're not going to start on that.
But Trump, I think, did push Canada a little too far, to the point where you have a number of companies now exploring longer-term pathways of relationships with China. And Mark Carney recently, I think this is last week, is talking more about trade with China than they are about the trade with the U.S. Now, as a Canadian citizen, I think it's absolutely terrible. Yes, we need to be diversified, but we need to look who we're getting into bed with. Mm-hmm. And so now that we might actually get some pipelines built, but it'll be LNG to the West Coast so that we can have LNG exports to China. Not necessarily a bad thing, but at the same time, okay, what does that do long term? So Trump may have overstepped that grounds with the 51st State comments, because it doesn't sound like Mark Carney, even though he said, our last meeting with Trump went well. You read between the lines, no, it didn't go well at all.
Well, and I've never heard of an illegal U.S. police station in Canada. Mm-hmm. But I have heard of a illegal Chinese one, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like their influence is so much more than what we want to give credit. And no matter what, it's a negative influence. It's not a positive influence. So him curtailing is a good thing. But my point to getting this, so he has done some good things, but that big, beautiful bill, the chance of the U.S. going into fiscal default is getting probably almost as bad as Canada's, and we are screwed. Especially if Carney continues down the Trudeau path.
Doesn't even release a budget. That is absolutely insane. You first of all, you barely get through Trudeau's, stepping down, have a snap election, and then to not release a budget, that to me is just screaming of, we're going to do what we want, and we don't even care what you guys think.
Yeah.
What does
It
it
is
matter?
liberal hypocrisy at its finest.
What does it matter if they release a budget? We're not going to do anything about it anyway.
And not that they follow their budget.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They could just throw
But
up
it
any
sets
numbers.
the tone that we need to at least try to appear to be accountable to our populace. And to me, that message says, we don't even care what the Canadian population thinks. We're going to do what we want. That's the message that I get.
And it's all coming under the guise of elbows up, which
Yeah.
is Jay's favorite terminology.
I told you, elbows deep. That's what we fucking are.
Yeah. No, man, we are not elbows deep. We're neck deep. We're neck deep in it, right? Like
The Liberals are elbow deep in us.
But then getting back to China for a second, you look at some of the influence and power they have. So during COVID, the virology lab in Winnipeg, they literally had scientists that were connected to the Wuhan laboratory that had been caught smuggling viruses into Canada, or out of Canada, sorry. And then when it got exposed, those scientists magically get it, out of the country, without any problems, and then change their names when they get to China. So now you can't track them down, and the Chinese government is giving new identities. And
What did it go from chin to chin?
many chins in a Chinese phone book, but so I mean, literally, you have protectionists. You have the government of China infiltrating some of the most top secret medical research or medical virology type research happening in this country. I mean, Winnipeg is a level 4 lab. They have smallpox. They've got the worst shit known to man.
they didn't infiltrate. They didn't. It was a intergovernmental cooperation agreement. It wasn't even an infiltration.
No, it was
It was like, hey, let's do this. We're all friends. Yay!
Yeah, except the two people that were smuggling stuff out of their suitcases. That was, that wasn't that was behind the scenes.
Yes. But the theory of approaching it, they didn't have to do any special magical collusion or deep espionage. It was literally our government went, hey, yeah, we'll work with you.
And then oddly enough, those media stories get killed.
Yeah.
Strange how that happens.
Yeah. None of them were hung, to the best of my knowledge. In
But their
prison.
last day might be.
Well, if they're Chinese, they're not very
I
well.
was going to say, I think they're Asian, so.
Oh my God!
I was going the same place, Tim.
Only down to the chin.
See, that's why we're going to get canceled.
You were canceled by the first episode.
Oh, valid point. We never had a hope.
But I mean, it's you talk about the U.S. going bankrupt or whatever sort of financial collapse you want to talk about. I mean, China's even a worse position.
Possibly. And I hear you. And I mean, like, the population, what is it really?
Underreported, yes,
Or
for decades.
overreported?
Or overreported.
Yeah.
So their actual number is under what they say it has, and it's been like that and a growing number for potentially decades, because local governments were incentivized to have more people on their on their books, so to speak, to the point where they fabricated hundreds of millions potentially.
Did I talk on the podcast ever about the Japanese salt importation into China? So one of the ways, okay. So one of the ways that they have been trying to track
Settling the kitties.
Sorry. Deep dive in Vance's brain. This is going to get boring. One of the ways they've been trying to track China's actual population growth over the last few decades is one of the essential nutrients that all human beings need is salt, right? Like without it, we will die. It's an electrolyte. And they don't produce enough of human consumable salt in China. So they import. The largest place they import from, Japan. So they've been tracking how many tons comes in from Japan. And lo and behold, pre-COVID to post-COVID. Now, so China produces some of its own. Mm-hmm. So when I say that at before COVID to now, it's half what it used to be, that doesn't mean that there's half as many people.
They switch sources or increase domestic production.
Or there's just been that massive reduction. There's still domestic production, but maybe that 1 billion is only 800,000 now. Or that 1.2 is only 1 billion now. Like basically it has fallen off a cliff. So that implies that even though they're saying my population's this high, it's far below that. Right? And that's one of the it's I can't remember. I should have thought about this beforehand. It just kind of came up in conversation. I haven't thought about it for a couple of months now. But like it's interesting. Like their population is far below probably what they claim it is. Just like their
and to the tune of probably a couple 100 million. Like, not a small number, but a drastically large number.
Exactly. Well, all of their cities, there's like 3 20 million person cities in China that are empty skyscrapers.
Kind of like North Korea.
Funny how communist regimes do that, eh?
Weird. They're so closely.
So you say China has an issue with salt for people.
Yep.
So, business idea. We start a sneaker factory, but the entire floor is done with a metal grate. You have a shit ton of people working there, and as they sweat,
just
kind of drips down, and you bottle it up, sell it back to them, make some money on the bottle. And they got their own salt again.
That's how factory. That's how factory fishing works there. They actually have chicken cages over top of their factory fish cages, and the chickens are fed.
That's where your tilapia comes from.
Yes, and that they crab through, and it feeds the fish. So it's recycling. Very efficient feeding.
Yeah.
But disgusting considering we eat that fish. Hey, let's have tuna.
Fish sticks.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with that.
I couldn't even imagine the water. The bottle says full bodied.
The green holes were too big on that one. It's Soylent fish.
So I did put a warning label that my Japanese salt conversation was boring. So now that we've put everybody to sleep.
I'm super interested in it. Like, it's an interesting indicator.
Yeah, that's because you're lame like me.
I know. It's cool, though.
Kaylie's wishing she had more coffee and energy drinks, but
You said energy drinks are bad for me.
Well, yeah,
they got vitamins. So
Yeah.
We don't know which ones, but they're there.
Yeah.
You guys, it's way past my bedtime, okay?
Oh my goodness.
It's early, Cailie.
It's not even
the first hour.
No, you sound like Alan now. Okay, I have a very strict work schedule. I wake up at 4:30. I'm in the car by 5. Stop at Tim Hortons. I get to work a little bit before 6. I work until 4. I go home. I eat. I go to bed by 7 o'clock.
And we will take sponsorship from Tim Hortons. So. We'll take gift cards.
No,
I won't.
not anymore.
Oh.
We'll take some from him.
What?
Tim Hortons all American now, anyways. Well, so is everything. I think that might be pre-mixed, Vance.
Just mix it in there. You'll be.
I'm sorry, I don't think Tim Hortons is all American. It's been a very mixed race when I went there.
Very valid. Very valid. Yes, you're.
The only good
Shout
thing
out to
about
our Filipino-Canadian meeting.
the only
No,
good
but like
thing-
for real though.
I got no problem with the Filipinos working there.
I see the same guy every morning, and I confused him the other day because I ordered an ice cap instead of a cold brew, and he brought me a cold brew anyway. Because I'm like the only person that's there right when they open.
And you're like, the fuck is this?
Yeah, and he was like, wait, what did you want? And I was like, an ice cap. He's like, oh, you're switching it up today. And I was like, yeah.
At least he said that, not, oh, I'm way too high for this.
No, he definitely does not give me that vibe. I mean, I'm surprised that people don't think I'm stoned when I'm driving in the morning. Me and Lane Assist are best friends. Like, all over the road.
Gets you through the day.
Oh, God.
Lane Assist. I heard Lane Assist. I was like, who's that?
Is she going in for a biopsy?
Oh, cheers to
No,
that.
the thing that makes sure I stay in between the lines. Not those lines, man.
She's not a truck driver.
Actually, I thought that was interesting. I mean, McDonald's had to get rid of those like little tiny spoons for that sniffing
the
reason.
little Coke spoons.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's why they got rid of them.
No.
The ones for stirring their coffee, the reason they got rid of those spoons is because they were getting used for Coke, and McDonald's didn't want to be. Or
Yeah, they're not big enough. They're not
associated
use the
with it.
McFlurry spoons. They're much bigger. They've got a little bigger handle.
no, just the tiny little ones.
Yes, straw.
You want a bump?
Woo!
Good for the rest of the day.
Oh, my Lord. So McDonald's is the devil. We've established this yet again.
Well, no, I mean, hey, in their defense, they got rid of those spoons so that they would, disassociate themselves with drug habits.
I love McDonald's. Me and Alan go on Chicky Nuggy Fridays every Friday.
Chicky nuggy?
Yeah,
Oh.
as our reward for not
down with the
committing
new lingo.
homicide, murder,
You're rewarding
arson.
yourself with.
Sorry, yourselves or McDonald's
Chicken.
hasn't done it?
So they're
Which are
slowly
you
killing
rewarding?
themselves for not killing
Myself.
others.
Oh, okay. Just checking. You never know.
Yeah, I gotta reward myself. I have to have something to look forward to.
I thought it might have
something
been.
to look forward
Set
to.
that
Well,
bar
that just
really
shows how
high.
sad my life is.
Whose fault
Like,
is that?
Alan tells me all the time, he's like, you shouldn't like coming to work as much as you do. Like, I want to go home. You don't want to go home.
Well, no, you're okay with having a job you enjoy.
Yes.
What do you do?
I'm an apprentice mechanic.
Okay. And why would you not want to have fun at twisting wrenches and getting greasy every single
Oh,
day?
no, I don't. I'm very homicidal every day.
That's genetic anger.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. I definitely, like, there's no DNA test needed. As soon as I go, motherfuck. And then it's like, oh, yeah, there's Dad.
I hardly ever swear at work, right, Jim?
I hardly ever hear it.
Yeah. It's because you got your headphones in, but...
Or he's just not listening.
I'm thinking my own
He just ducks
profanities.
the wrenches.
I'm not allowed headphones in case Alan lights himself on fire and he can't put it out this time.
Well, that's his own fault.
That's what body cams are for. Watch the footage later.
He needs a Jarvis from Iron Man.
That should go viral.
Fire extinguisher.
You mean to go viral?
I think Alan on Fire can get us some views.
I could literally record that like 7 times in a single day. I was welding a clamp onto the exhaust on the camera trailer, and I asked him, I was like, am I okay? Like, is anything gonna light on fire? He's like, no, you're fine. It lit on fire.
Whenever Alan says, it's fine, it's
Run.
Well,
not.
he's pretty good for
fine.
like keeping me safe. It's, you know, do as I say, not as I do. Because like he's always like gloves, glasses, face shield, and then he'll say that and like just go and raw dog it, and I'm like, that's
And
not.
then he puts his safety
Then you
squint
said
on.
that, I was just picturing
yeah.
really fucked up videos.
Oh, Tim.
You know what?
Feel free to slap him.
Workplace environment.
Okay.
I told
Talk to
Alan
each
to do that. He just can't, like, because I was being really, really stupid on Friday. I'll admit it. And so I told him, like, you can smack me, but, like, the shop camera's back on, so just have to go into the small bay, because then you won't get caught. Can't report you.
Yeah, you don't leave video evidence you can send to HR.
Yeah, I mean, Daryl would tell me that I probably deserved it anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. And, I mean, if you get Ellen fired, you're out of work probably, so.
Yeah, I'm very screwed without Alan.
Yeah.
Alan is my therapist, my financial advisor.
Oh, that's
God.
Sorry, Al. But you are.
I have some suggestions.
Yeah. We're not going to name drop right now, but after the call, yeah.
No, but he is actually helping me out with like this moving thing and whatever. Because I was like, never budgeted for this kind of stuff. Like I'm existing. That's all I am.
Well, if it makes you feel better, the vast majority of North Americans tend not to budget. They should, but they tend not to. So
I
you're normal.
And
grew
then
up
of the ones
in
that do
like
budget, how many follow it?
I grew up in like such a less than ideal situation, and so I'm such a cheapskate. I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop because I've always had to fix everybody else's problem. So I'm always waiting for that other shoe to drop, and so I asked him. I was like, "How do I budget for this? Because like I don't know how to adult. Okay, I'm just again existing." And so he literally made a spreadsheet for me.
Really?
It's a good
That's
start.
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Well,
It's
hey,
like,
Alan,
this
I
is
think
what
that-
all your
that
bills are going to
apology's
be,
good,
you
sir.
know, on the high side, we'll put them at this, and this is your car payment and your rent, and so put $500 away each check, and you'll be covered for the end of the month, and then some.
Legitimately good boss.
Yeah,
Way to go.
that is
a budget.
good mentoring.
Is, honestly, the budget is the first tool everybody should have when it comes to their financial plan. Start with a budget and then go from there.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not hard. It's not rocket science, and it'll save you so much pain and anguish throughout your life. It'll help you retire early without even trying.
And like my other
sticking to a
thing,
budget, it's insane.
But then I won't have so much cool shit.
well, see,
Well,
There's an
instant
attitude
gratification sucks sometimes.
No, it's pretty
Long-term,
fucking awesome.
Alan knows that instant gratification sucks. Okay, he has like 8 cars now.
And he's happy.
And he paid cash for them.
Every time I buy a motorbike I don't need, I'm happy.
Yeah,
Momentarily. It's,
No. Continually.
TikTok is free, motorbikes aren't.
I know that I can't.
Exactly. What are you saying? Every time I take it out of the garage.
Well, that's like I got a credit card, okay? Because I think I have a pretty good credit score for my age, and
Yeah.
I want to keep it that way. And so, you know, a certain somebody that I won't suggest in case she's listening to this. she was like, I told her, I was like, my laptop sucks. And like, I don't use it that often anymore because I'm obviously not, I'm done high school. And I was just saying like, oh, my laptop really sucks. And she was like, well, just go buy a new one, use your credit card. I'm like, that's how you get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, I have $150 owing on it right now because I needed plates. But like, that's what it's there for is, you know, a short paycheck. I had that 2-week migraine that I got so screwed over from. So it's for gas, plates, and if Squishy decides to try and beat up a big dog again. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
It's not there for fun things. I'm not at the point in my life where it's not that I don't deserve fun things, but like Alan's worked his way up. You've worked your way up. You know, you've already worked your way up to being able to do that. I need to
That's true. I had no
get
cool
my shit
really
together
when I was in my 20s.
I think my car's pretty cool.
And staying out of that credit card trap is a huge step. So, you know, as much as you're just sort of in survival mode right now, being able to learn that lesson at your age will set you far ahead of so many people that get trapped by, I'll just throw it all in the credit card. Next thing you know, it's like, how am I ever going to pay that off?
Yeah.
Another one you can look at too is...
You have the right mindset when it comes to that.
Check out Dave Ramsey.
Yeah, I've seen him, yeah.
And they've got the Every Dollar app.
Yeah.
And it budgets out everything for you.
Yeah.
You can use that stuff too. It's also not bad.
Yeah, I'm so like hardcore when it comes to finances, especially the car, right? Like when I had that migraine, I had $1,000 in my savings. It's gone.
Money bags.
Yeah.
Here.
So, but I mean, the biggest thing was to make sure I made that car payment because not only am I screwing myself over, I'm screwing you over.
But Dave Ramsey, baby step one is that emergency fund, right? And so in that case, you had to use your emergency fund. Step one again is build it back up. Right?
Yeah, which is the hardest thing to do because, like, obviously I'm still playing catch up with all the bills and stuff. We switched phones and TELUS screwed me over. Fuck you, TELUS. So now I've got an $800 phone bill. I've got, you know, like everything's gotten so screwed up. So now I'm just trying to catch up, and then I get my vacation pay in like a month. So,
well, you know, adulting is all just about struggling.
Yeah,
That's just that's what we do.
But the choices we make can make the struggle much easier to cope with, right? Or much harder, right? It is a day-to-day choice.
But then you don't have cool shit.
I mean, you can't take an RSP out for a weekend joyride. I will give you that, Jay.
Moment.
Tuck it on the back of the
when
bike.
you're 65,
and just open her up.
the only thing that I can spend money on and not feel super guilty about it is tools.
Well,
Like I've probably spent like $2,000 now.
But those are furthering your
exactly.
future
It's an investment instead of
employment.
you know.
Yeah.
every successful business does need to use. I should say most successful businesses need to use debt from time to time.
Yeah.
For capital investments that have a return on them. Your tools are a capital investment that have a return on them.
Yeah.
So only ones that don't use debt are ones that have built up to a point of having ridiculous money and can use the cash to do things with cash.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
cash flows.
Like I've got like a bunch of like mismatched brands and whatever, and I was like, I don't really care. Like, you know,
matter.
a wrench is a wrench,
They
right?
work, yeah. 5/8
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it says craftsman or Snap-on.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
my dad still has tools that he bought when he was 20 years old
Yeah.
that he still uses to save himself money now that he's 70.
Like,
Yeah.
of course, like, you know, my ideal situation is to get all the purple Snap-on tools. But I mean, like, you know, a certain somebody that I won't mention, she's trying to scare me into not moving out. She's trying to manipulate me into not doing it and use my weaknesses against me. And, you know, she's like, oh, well, plates are really expensive and you need all this stuff. And I'm like, camping chair, paper plates, plastic cutlery. I'm solid.
And honestly, when it comes to that kind of stuff,
2S auction.
hit up Value Village.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
And really, what do you really need? A couple of plates, a couple of forks, or you hit up an estate sale.
I'm gonna
there's
go-
so many options.
What is that person providing to your current living situation?
Absolutely nothing.
So what does it matter?
Yeah.
What's the difference going to be?
Yeah.
Is it advice or divide?
What was the second word?
What?
Divide.
Advice or divide?
Add or divide, mathematical.
Yes.
Could be device, but I decided to go divide. Because it's very wide.
Oh my god!
Plus device is like
You either need more to drink or
Divisive.
less. I'm not sure which.
But yeah, and I mean, like,
He was out on a limb and the branch broke.
like this
I
said
thought he was
person.
sawing it off on the wrong side. Right?
Couldn't decide, male or female.
Well, there's a tool that comes in handy.
And that's why
And
I
you can
buy
write it
stupid
off
shit.
if you're in the right industry.
Yeah, she's now an arborist.
There you go.
Screw you, Siri.
Yeah, exactly. This chainsaw's a write-off. See, you can have cool shit, Jay.
Yeah. But it's write-off's only good if you got the income.
Yeah. However, though, that is one of my favorite parts about owning a couple of businesses, is the simple fact that some of the stuff that I need to buy is like automatically 40% off. Because do I have to pay for it? Yes. But is it a tax write-off? Yes. And that's a wonderful thing. Sales are good, right?
Yeah. Again, though, but you have an income that you're taking that tool against that income stream.
Exactly, right? So,
yeah.
I'm pretty set up now for tools. Like, there's, like, a few specific things. Because, like, Alan left on a service call one day, and I was like, I can't do anything. I have nothing. He was like, he left on a service call, and I was trying to fix the beacons on the boiler. And I don't have a test light. I can't. And, like, you can use a multimeter, but it's not as great. Because I'm just trying to see if I have power, right?
Sorry, you're a mechanic?
Yeah. I work for a water construction company.
Now the boiler makes sense. Okay. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
In the kitchen is a kettle.
Oh, my God. But yeah, so
Good boy. You're a good boy.
yeah, they reline all the water lines in the city. So then me and Alan just maintain the equipment. And like I thought I knew things before I went in. I mean, I did for like
You had a basic
the average person.
Yeah.
But like and like especially like this last week, like I just dove in and like just did stuff, fixed the beacons, the oil change on the Chev only took me 30 minutes instead of an hour and a half. Like I can take apart and clean a carb and
that's the biggest part of any of that, mechanics type stuff is you just take it apart until you find what's broken.
Just figure shit out.
Fix it / replace it and put it back together.
Well, the biggest part is remembering how to put it back together, actually.
Pictures. Pictures.
Videos. Set up a camera and watch
I didn't do that with the turbo, so it was just make sure that I had no bolts left.
If
I had
there's
one
extra
left.
bolts left over, that just means you did it more efficiently.
Yeah, I had one
And then
left.
you just pull them back inside.
And
the
it
turbo
hasn't
and
blown
bolt it
up. It blew up.
See?
Okay, the turbo didn't blow up, but like Alan took it for a test drive because I hate those cab over vehicles. They're terrifying to drive. And he comes back with the hazards on, and I'm like, for fuck's sakes, like I this 3 days gone, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it blew up, and I'm like, shut up. And he's like, no, it didn't. I'm like, you motherfucker. And he does it all the time. He was doing an inspection on one of the trucks, and he's like, you remember 108 and how it, you had a really hard time with that oil pan? And I was like, and he's like, this one needs an oil pan. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And he's like, yeah, I'm just kidding. He literally gives me a heart attack every day.
Some people.
There's no piece of equipment better than one you don't have to fix. That's my
I have to fix all of them.
Yeah.
Having a homestead and numerous pieces of gas engines and equipment. You know what? I've got a few pieces of electrical equipment that just fucking work whenever I need them. They're not, maybe not the most convenient or the most powerful, but when I need them to work, they fucking turn on.
Well, our biggest problem is that we have Hinos and Isuzus. So they're not like...
Yeah.
However, actually, I take that back. I would rather work on those than ever touch that piece of shit 6-liter Ford E450 ever again. Okay? And I didn't even do it, okay? I just watched, and I was like, nope.
6-leaker.
Yeah.
6-leaker, yeah. Well.
Yeah, that thing is awful. And Alan's like, yeah, bring it into the shop. And I was like, doesn't want to shift for me again. Like, you go deal with it, because I know that I'm going to try and I'm going to go a little too aggressive and I'm going to break it.
All I can say is anything made in North America, far superior to Russia. When we
I don't know, that makes a pretty good tractors.
I think we have...
Dude, the Polaris? Are you kidding me? Dude. Well, okay, I can't comment on the tractors, but I can comment on the combines.
There's a whole series of Russian tractor videos.
Oh my lord, the Polaris combines that we used to have at Kim's dad's farm, that we used, like every hour in the field, it felt like 2 hours of maintenance. Like you spend a couple of days getting them up and running and doing your oil changes and making sure everything's good and blah, 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 right? All the basic maintenance.
But they also sent this shit overseas. But look at GM sending all the Iraqi Malibus, back in the 80s, newer cars since then. you send the bare bones least, because you don't have to worry about the warranty claim halfway around the world, especially after you go bomb them when you're done.
Well, what's crazy, too, is that there's so many combines made in the Vladivostok plants where all these Belaruses were made as well, but it's just the specs that they follow. So the hydraulics in particular on the Belarus combines were, on anything Russian, was absolute garbage. But if you just went to Germany next door or North America, it was flawless. Mm-hmm. Exact same design, but the O-rings fit. The machining on the pistons were just
the attention to quality,
micrometer better, right? Mm-hmm. Like every single spring or every single fall during getting ready for harvest on those Belaruses, I had a transhydraulic fluid bath, just dripping down my shoulders as I'm trying to change out these O-rings.
I hate hydraulics after the backhoe. I'll never be the same. I inhaled so much brake clean.
It's good for you.
Well, I thought, I was like, oh, I've inhaled so much, I won't get sick. No.
It's cleaned out every germ in your body.
It did not.
Yeah, it's like alcohol. It just kills
also
off
reset
the
It's the new brake clean, so it's not as good.
Oh, that stuff's terrible.
Yeah. I use half a can of that, every hour.
It's not recreational. It really shouldn't be recreational.
I'm not answering that for legal reasons.
Good.
It's reset the immune system, so now your body's got to learn it all
It comes
over
with
again.
a straw. I mean,
I don't do it on purpose.
Or a little tiny spoon.
Is it the McFlurry one?
My favorite part is that on the back of the can, on the label, it very clearly states in all capitals that it will harm a fetus.
obvious if you throw it at it.
Don't spray it, please.
Do you think it'll hit it? Yeah, it
Depends on how hard you throw it.
Not to be taken internally.
I've been fine so far. So I said to Jordan earlier, I've ingested so much worse. I'm a germaphobe, but I'll also be covered in whatever on my hands, and I will go make a sandwich. And
because
all mechanic sandwiches taste like 1030.
And also bread is a what?
It's 1540 for me, but
an antiseptic.
Heavy duty.
yeah.
Gear oil for breakfast.
Yeah.
I hate the smell of gear oil, man. My God.
Yeah.
No, I hate the smell of bad gear oil.
Yeah.
A dip that's been flooded.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new stuff does have, when it's fresh out, it does have a smell.
Yeah, gear oil has a distinct smell, but when it's burnt or
funky,
mixed with water or...
And it clings in your nose.
Oh, yeah. It stays. It lingers.
Oh, when I did the Chev's oil change, it was at 6,000 or whatever, which I was really confused because I was like, the service truck only made 2. I forgot that we daily drove it in the winter and everything. That poor Chev. And that thing's terrifying. You it'll slide on pavement. It just goes. It has a mind of its own. And so I did the oil change on it, and it was so burnt and so just no. And I took it on a parts run, and I get on the highway and I'm going on to Vic. It's got an oil pressure. And so I call Alan. I'm like, Chev's got no oil pressure, and he's like, does it have oil? Yeah. Does it sound like your Dodge? No.
You're good. Keep driving.
It's fine.
Just a sensor.
He's like, unless it's got to be knocking really hard. And I was like, well, it doesn't sound like the Dodge. The Dodge still goes, but
how is that still a thing?
What?
A decade at least of the Hemi tick. How is that?
I don't even have a truck though. That's the best part. I have a little Dodge Caliber. It's a little hatchback.
Oh wow,
sounds like it's got a Hemi tick though. I've had it for 2 years.
It sounds like a diesel that's on its way out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's not good. Yeah, I've had 2 Hemis, and I've got the tick. The one sounds like a Russian tractor now, so.
Yeah. How is it, all it is changing the oil pressure, the oil pump, increasing to a higher pressure oil pump, from what I've been told. And it won't happen.
Well, no, because on mine it's an exhaust leak because you've got...
It's the exhaust manifolds that the bolts
the
crack.
warp. Yeah. The warping and whatnot. But I read somewhere online that it comes from low oil pressure. I don't know how.
It goes back to the consumerism thing.
Yeah,
they don't want to fix it.
You can put heavier weight oil in it, and it'll quiet it down.
Yeah.
It's like a Subaru fix.
Yeah.
That's what you told me to do in the Dodge. You're like, just,
80-90.
Yeah, run some thicker oil and
it's great in the wintertime. You better have a damn good battery.
Let her go.
So my piece of crap Dodge Hemi, it uses 520 or 020? 020. It's a 2017 Hemi. And the oil that you're supposed to put in is 020.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of that.
That is ridiculous.
Really?
How light
Yeah,
of a
girl
weight.
needs
Are you
020 as
sure?
well.
Or
I have
520.
I thought it was 530.
Or 520.
Sure it's not 530?
I guarantee it's 20.
I probably put the wrong shit in mine.
It's either 020 or 520. I can't remember. But still, the 20 is like
Yeah, I use
freaking
520 in
light.
mine.
Just put in 1030.
It would
See?
probably help.
Thank you.
530 is okay, but honestly, fuck what it says on the thing. Fuck what the engineers say, because
The engineers designed that shit in the first place.
They're so
Well,
far
yeah.
up their fucking asses, they don't have a fucking clue. Just put 1030 and everything.
Thank you.
Fill it with water, you'll be fine.
Run it. It'll be
Fill
fine.
it with water.
Fucking
I
send
do
it.
want a new truck. You're right.
It'll probably last you a lot longer.
With water? No, I don't think
No,
so.
no, no. Well, or soy sauce, according to Alan.
In the winter, it'll run pretty cold.
Put the heavier weight oil in it, and you'll be fine.
Really?
I mean, we ran vehicles for, from the 30s into the 90s, 2000s with 5 and 10 weight oil.
Yeah.
And
Different
those
tolerances,
things.
though. Like, they just built in the 30s versus
Yeah,
the
but you
Hemi
know
from
what? There's
2017.
not going to be that much fucking difference.
And let's
I don't
face
care
it,
what the fucking engineers say. Like, you're still pushing that oil through there. Put 1030 in it, change it every 5,000. And,
miles or kilometers?
Kilometers.
Meters.
well, I mean, you can do 5,000 miles.
Meters.
Whatever, do it at 5,000. Because if you're putting in 1030, the oil's cheap,
That's true.
right? If you're putting in 020 synthetic,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Today,
Cheaper.
oil's cheap.
cheaper.
Well, like that's what I'm supposed to put in my car is 520 full synthetic, which I probably will because I want to take care of it. And like I'm locked in for 7 years, and I'm sorry, but again, new shit breaks. That thing's not lasting 7 years.
right Hemi
Nobody
break
else
window.
can convince me otherwise.
So Christian's got his minivan, right?
No,
2018. Well, okay. Tim has Christian's minivan.
Jeez, Grand Theft Auto.
But ever since Christian got that minivan, 1030. That's what he puts in everything.
Yeah.
I don't care what fucking says. It's getting 1030.
Have you done an oil change on it recently?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that motor is still
Clunky
great.
as fuck.
Our Durango, which is 2019, so a year newer, made it 70,000 kilometers. And I did the oil changes as specified with the proper weight of oil. And that motor fucking blew up.
Yeah, I'm nervous because like I know these EcoSport engines are not the best. So I was like, fine, we'll put the fancy shit in it just because I don't want it to break on me because it's really expensive.
But you think about it from an engineering perspective. So you got Dodge with their Hemis. You've got now Chevy with their L87, which is going to be one of the biggest recalls ever. In
Yeah.
the automotive industry.
Yeah.
And even the ones that they aren't recalling are just like, well, just put some heavier weight oil in and we'll get to you eventually because before we, go bankrupt. Like, how have these engineers gotten to that point? Like, was it the accountants pushing them that hard to cut back on costs to the point where they're just going to bankrupt a company when they have a recall of this scale?
Probably.
Like, yeah, I'm glad I don't own a GM stock. Because, I mean, that motor is in fucking everything.
Oh, yeah.
I remember them talking about the EcoBoost out of Ford when it first came out, how horrible it was. And now, yes, there were some garbage ones in the first couple of years, but by far out
Fords
of all
or
those...
EcoBoost?
Huh?
Fords or EcoBoost?
Yes.
The EcoBoost engine.
Yeah. But they fixed that after, like, year 3.
Yes, exactly. And so by far out of, like, the engines that you just listed off, the L87 and the Hemi, the EcoBoost, by far, which is the one that is most... consumers have heard the worst about, I would argue, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the most publicly accessible, don't buy this because it's going to blow up on you at 100,000 kilometers or whatever, your turbos.
It's also a Ford.
But it is the best of the engines.
Let's
It
not
is.
go
Okay,
there.
like, far and away.
Okay, I like my Ford.
But
I miss my F-150.
You go back to Dodge used to put that 3.8 liter V6, that minivan motor.
Fucking everything.
They put that in fucking
was a
everything.
tank.
Good
And
motor.
it would fucking last
motor.
forever.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that's what's in my Dakota. Because I've been running that thing with no oil for a while now. And it starts every
And they
time.
go fucking
sounds quieter than my Hemi.
They just fucking run.
It doesn't die. In winter, no problem, just...
It's like a Honda lawnmower. It just fucking
Or
gives
the
it fuel.
4 liter
It fucking
version.
runs.
doesn't die.
I disagree. I have beef with the Honda 160s. They don't like me. I have my 2 favorites, and all the other ones, garbage. They're all the same, but I have 2 favorites.
Now, typically, those Honda lawnmowers, you just fucking... You do zero maintenance on them.
Leave them in the bush for 10 years, go out there and put some fresh gas.
Like the lawnmower that's at your place,
Pulsar.
Tim? Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever changed the oil in that fucking thing, and I bought it like 12 years ago. I just put fuel in it every year, and it cuts the grass.
I struggled. I had to pull 3 times when I tried to start it the other day. So
well,
I think
maybe
it's getting there now.
Yeah,
Just
time to
check
change
it.
oil every decade. Really, you should.
Every 10 years, whether you need to or not.
Man,
The
I
only
had to do
problem-
like 32 of those oil changes over winter.
Oh, see, so just bring it over to Cailie's place. She's
I
got lots of
don't know.
experience.
You really don't need to change your oil that often. Like you can string it out.
It's the preventative maintenance.
Because somebody in an office said, it should be done.
Yeah.
Oil canner on RV down to the motor.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like safety people. I don't know how to do your job, but I'm going to tell you how to do it better.
So, how many kilometers do you have in your 2017 Ram?
I'm north of 200,000.
Oh, okay, so I got 100,000 on your same year truck.
Yeah.
But mine's it's starting to sound like my Jeep already. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes.
Mine's sounding like a Jeep.
Yeah.
I mean, I would help you change the exhaust manifolds on them.
Well, Tim's gonna.
They're fucking shitty, so I'm not going to.
Yeah.
It's not a small job.
No,
it
it's
really
not.
isn't.
Well, we're gonna have that front quarter panel off anyway, so that might give you a little more access to that side.
No,
Yeah.
that's the one thing that I'm
you
happy
can take
about.
a fender off. It's not going to get in there.
No.
If you pull out the inners,
But it's a solid inner. It doesn't come out.
it's better, but it's still...
Those are solid.
Oh, on the 2017s, are they?
No, on my Jeep I'm talking about. 20.
It's like the
13.
X5s in that one. Aren't they a solid inner fender?
2015. Yeah, it's a unibody, so probably.
Yeah.
Could be.
It's all part of the structure.
I think this is the longest.
Yeah, because I'm thinking on your truck.
Yeah.
We've done a couple manifolds on trucks.
Yeah. The Jeep's definitely probably.
That you pull out the inner fenders and then, like, you have access. But it doesn't matter when 6 of the 8
It's that
bolts
secondary.
break.
It's that secondary security access denied.
Yeah, exactly.
You want this bolt? Fuck you.
Would the exhaust leak on the exhaust manifold be a safety requirement?
Google.
I want to say technically
Google.
yes, but I don't know what
Yeah.
that's
For like
right.
SGI
if they
safeties?
pinpointed
Yeah.
that's where
Yeah,
the
an
issue's
exhaust
coming
leak
from.
is a fail.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
But
I don't have any issues.
But
It just sounds
if,
terrible.
if they pinpoint that it's an exhaust leak, it might, because currently it just sounds like a tick.
Well, it definitely smells like exhaust, like every time you start it.
Time to start smoking crack.
Yeah. There you go. I'll just have a lot of perfume around the engine at that point.
Otherwise,
So what you do when you take it to the dealer, when you take it,
You put a
let's get
$50
an
bill
inspection,
there.
You put a $50 bill at every problem.
I just
Prattly
buy a new
bonded,
Jeep for that price.
Prattly bond it, paint it, do your inspection,
Yeah,
bring
and
it
then come
back,
back if
and
we
then
need
Yeah.
You know, the SGI safeties are intense.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, well, would we have like a millimeter of play on the front axle on the Santa Fe?
A millimeter?
Like a 16?
Oh yeah. Before we take
Oh, yeah, on the front
Yeah,
axle.
because they wanted that replaced, and it was like,
Yeah.
really,
Barely
Yeah,
any.
barely.
when you
fucking
realized what
moves.
they meant by when you said the fake number. Millimeter was perfect. They
Yeah.
went with this whole 16.
Yeah, well, I had to give it. Oh, I don't know. What is the equivalent of a 16? Would that be about a millimeter?
Don't ask him. He.
I'm sorry,
Or
1, 2,
32nd
3, 4, not
You can't ask me
170,
either.
25.
Somewhere
you could
between
get
a
through a problem
32nd
so
and a
much
16th.
quicker.
I don't know.
Alan,
Why do you think it took the Americans
It's
so long to get to the...
125.4.
Like I asked him to grab a half-inch wrench. I said, "What the fuck is that?" Give me a 13 fucking millimeter, okay?
Why do you think it took the Americans so long to get to space? They had to get all through
Yeah,
all these
that's
fucking
actually-
numbers.
A half inch
Why?
is right between a 12 and a 13. So
Well, 13 is closest.
13 is slightly closer.
13's a half inch.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 is 9.
Alan,
exactly.
We're right on target,
That's
about
16, yeah.
17 mils over.
8 mils,
Perfect.
5/16.
Well, because the 12 wouldn't fit because it'd be slightly too small.
Alan gives me the stupid end of the tape measure. Because I'll be like, oh yeah, 32 inches and like 7 lines. Girl math.
Big line, small line.
My point
combination.
exactly.
Girl math.
He should buy you a digital one for Christmas.
Yeah,
don't
it's
think
also
he
going to
likes me
say
that
dot,
much.
dot.
He's explained this to me so many times, and like, you know, we had to build a bunch of stuff, and
I mean,
he was like,
If you really want to piss them off, start telling them in millimeters.
Just get metric only tape measures for Alan for Christmas.
But you guys got to recognize we are kind of like the last bilingual in math people around. Like, so when we grew up, maybe not you.
No, I did. Learn the fraction.
English. Yeah. So like we grew up in the English system, and then when we were young, it switched over to the metric. So we kind of have that combination of both, where I know exactly what a kilometer is, I know what a mile is, I know what 9/16 is,
1,600 meters.
I know what 17 mils is.
I also know that 25.4 millimeters is an inch. Right?
Well, so.
But that's more of a Canadian thing.
Okay, but also...
Yeah, like Americans wouldn't know that because they're stuck in just the one unilingual...
It's a nice bridging point, but at some point you have to kind of come over to the dark side and learn what real numbers are. I mean, look, even Braille went to fucking digital. They got tablets.
Yeah.
Well, same thing. Like when you're measuring stuff in Canada, right? Temperature. Is it a small temperature or is it a big temperature? If it's a small temperature, it's Celsius. If it's a big temperature, it's Fahrenheit.
So
same thing with
or
weights.
if it's inside versus outside.
If it's a smaller weight, it's in pounds. If it's a bigger weight, it's in tons.
So I've talked about that Tanner Shook guy that I follow, the health influencer. He's like the natty guy's awesome. He basically calls you a fat, lazy asshole if you don't work out. There's more to it than that, but you know what I mean, right? I've shared that with you guys, right?
A little attacked, but whatever.
It's okay. You know what? I'll get you. You know what? I'm glad you opened that box of weights. I'm glad you opened that. One of these days.
I still say I overpressed a fuel tank and Vance couldn't. So. Just going back to that.
And one of these days, we're going to actually set up that boxing.
Yes.
The heavy bag for you.
Yeah, I gotta move that giant metal
get that boiler
reservoir boiler tank.
Any day. Just ask one. I'm done seating. I'll give you a hand.
I heard someone that knows how to work a kettle. She was saying she was working on it earlier.
No, that was a boiler, but tomato.
Yeah. We're going to turn that thing to a smoker, though.
Inches, millimeters,
yes,
kettle,
exactly.
boiler.
See, but I only work on the underneath part. I don't go inside of it. That's not my
Wow,
problem.
really? This
Confined
is a family
space.
podcast?
Let's get ocean.
Is it? Could have fooled me.
So he's got this group of us people that all work out and we kind of like do our thing. It's like social media. It's called school. It's pretty cool. Anyway, well, it is. And you know, like it's SKOOL. So like, it's like bro school. I don't know because it's about lifting, right?
Picturing the old workout videos. Okay, let's go.
No. This is actually like he squats like 405 for reps. Like it's real weight. Like 405, that'd be like 190 kilos for reps. Like that's real weight. Anywho's it.
Seems like I could double it.
I put on there the triathlon today, and I was like going, you know, like we started off and it was cold, but it turned into a great day. And I put, you know, like it started off at like 17, but it started off at like 14, wound up at like 20. Or for the Americans, that's like 71, you know? So tying into the conversion sort of thing, it's whenever you talk to anybody from the States, you do have to convert, especially the temperatures, I find.
Well, and it's funny because I use Fahrenheit.
Humidity.
Well, I use Fahrenheit for indoor temperatures and I use Celsius for outside.
It's the same thing.
Well, because most thermostats come pre-programmed to Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So you just get used to it. So it's like, I like it at 71, 72, but I'm like, if I had to convert that to Celsius, yeah, I guess it's 21.5.
No, I want Celsius up until the boiling point.
Yeah.
And then we're talking engine temperatures, then I need Fahrenheit. So if you're fucking overheating your house.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It's 212, what?
This sounds so much worse.
It does.
I don't know,
100% it does.
No, what is that in fucking Fahrenheit? Like 260. Oh, Jesus, shut it off.
Hey, let's switch it over to Kelvin here and we'll be okay. Shut up.
Yeah, temperatures have never fucking made sense to me in terms of Celsius and Fahrenheit.
Well, and there is a conversion formula. It's like you double it in -7 or
I'm
something.
not doing
but
fucking math.
Just
There's a
Google
division
it.
factor in
Google
I'm a mechanic.
Not or
I don't
can't.
do math.
Yeah.
Gemini AI can help you out with that.
Oh, that's true. I could use
That's a callback.
Yeah, but then I gotta use
Yeah,
AI
but,
more. And
but Alexa fucking couldn't.
No,
Because they made her stupid.
I know.
Planned obsolescence, full circle.
Gemini
Nice.
is pretty cool. I gave my Gemini a British accent, so she sounds even smarter.
You did it because you thought she was sexier.
Well, that too. But
Yeah, there you go. Honesty, man. Best
I
policy.
prefer the Australian accent personally.
You die.
Oh, crikey, you
Yeah.
I just think of the French.
That's
kiss down
not
under.
a knife.
The French, oh, titty croissant.
No, it's like, what's an Australian kiss? It's a French kiss down under.
Oh.
Why do you think she likes the Australians so much?
Jenny was smiling today at supper. I noticed that.
She got the Australian kiss.
Attaboy, Andrew.
And if you step too far, it's tongue in cheek.
That was solid.
Oh, it gets a rim shot.
Well, rim shot. Hey, there you
Oh,
go.
here, we'll give you a laugh track.
Literally a rim shot. I think this is the dirtiest thing that's ever been said in this podcast.
No.
You've missed a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. We're slipping the tongue.
No, that was pretty dirty.
Was he there for
She was
the?
talking about making sandwiches.
Was he there for the willy warmer?
That wasn't dirty. Yes,
Oh, were you there for the Willy
for
Warmer?
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I heard it. If I wasn't there, I heard it.
Yeah.
Were we
It was
still at
appropriate
Chris's
with Leslie
at that
last
point?
week, too.
I think that was.
No, that was here.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just-
PG-13 or,
I'm just used to it, and like in all honesty, I'm so much worse than the people I work around.
Well, because you're a mechanic.
It's not even that though. Like even like before that, like growing up, everybody was convinced I was a lesbian. I'm pretty sure people still
Really?
think I'm a lesbian because I'm just guyish. I don't know.
too much
I
tomboy
never-
attitude.
Yeah,
I never thought that about you, Cailie.
That's-
I watched.
it's because you're an adult. You have a brain.
You think logically.
You have critical thinking
Yeah, no,
skills.
literally, I would go and pick up a friend from high school, and I did it online because I literally hated everybody I went to school with pretty much, and I would pick her up just to be nice, and somebody came up to her and they're like, "Oh, you're dating Cailie Malo?" And she's like, "The fuck? No." Like, I'm sorry, I'm just being nice. Like, I didn't realize that meant that I was sleeping with her.
Well. I mean.
People are judgy.
Oh, yeah. Are you new to small towns?
Well, this one.
Well, I remember being bullied so hard for the cowboy boots that you got me, that you and Tilly got me.
Yeah.
Man, people picked on me for that so much. They're like, "You're not a farm kid," and I'm like,
You know how many town kids in high school now?
Almost.
Yeah.
Wear
Ah.
cowboy
It's
boots?
weird. So in Varrick's grade, he's one of the few farm kids,
Yeah.
and he's one of the few kids with.
That doesn't wear cowboy
Yeah,
boots.
I'm like, I bought an acreage. I live out the farm. I got cows. I got
You've
chickens.
got two
I-
cows.
I wish I had
Technically,
farm.
you could have a
Cowboy
cowboy
boots.
hat and cowboy boots. You got two
I do
cows.
have a cowboy hat. But
They
that's
screw up your feet. They
could
screw up your feet.
Yeah.
You don't want them.
well, I had somebody in my class comment on my profile picture. I was wearing skinny jeans, so the jeans weren't over the boot, and they had commented about that. And Dad just ripped them in a new one. He was like, "Well, you realize back in the day, like if your jeans were untucked, like you're considered a sissy. Like you should maybe do your research before you
Do your
comment."
research on cowboy boots.
Yeah,
You're gonna kick shit. Learn how to kick shit.
If
Come
you're
on,
gonna-
boy.
literally.
If you're going to pick on the village people, you better start getting your facts straight.
Get your facts.
I mean, they may fuck up your feet, but can I tell you how many times I've stepped into chicken shit in my dress shoes?
I'm sorry, why are you wearing a dress?
It's a kilt. It's a kilt.
oh man,
If I wore underwear, it'd be a skirt.
I was missing Dad today at that Scottish
Highland Games
cultural. No, it was the cultural festival.
thing.
Oh,
And we went into the Scottish one, and there's all these men in kilts, and there's all of those.
Were there men
horns.
in tights as well?
Oh, the bagpipes.
Horn mugs and
Oh, okay.
I sent him a picture of it because I seen all of them. I'm like, Dad, and I was like, Dad needs to be here. Like,
We should
this
really
is
have the
his-
horn bugs here. I'm gonna bring mine out next time.
all right.
Do we want to try again to do a Highland Games here?
I would love to.
It would have to be next year.
My back
I would
says
love
fuck
Can we
you.
do that in conjunction with Rock the Rink?
Yes, I think that's the best weekend to do it.
That
In
is a
August.
good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? You're already tying in with all the other stuff going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I can reach out to Carl. And
I mean, you
see.
can talk to them and see.
I wouldn't try to get
Because
for
we
this
would
year.
have.
I feel like we got to wait till next year.
Yeah. Well, we would have been in go last year, but he had so many people cancel.
Was that just last year or was that 2 years
I was
ago?
so
It was last year.
disappointed.
Really? Only last year?
Yeah, I was
Feels
still
like fucking forever.
No, that was last year.
Well, he had, so half of his athletes, so they had to meet like the weekend before or 2 weeks before. And like one guy blew his knee out, another guy blew
Yeah,
his shoulder.
there was
Like, it
all injuries, yeah.
and then another guy got married. So like half
injuries.
of his actual athletes-
That's the worst injury.
brain injuries don't count.
Just kidding. I love it.
Half of his guys had the real athletes had to quit, but we didn't have many amateur athletes, and he was kind of counting on us to get amateur athletes. So we got to push that.
Well, we had. I
don't
don't
know,
know. I guess
20,
it depends. Yeah,
we didn't have 20 registered.
No. Well, we had you, me,
Kyle.
Vance,
Kyle.
Kyle, Martin.
Yep.
Christian?
Christian was definitely a maybe. He wants to. It's just.
But I don't think he actually registered.
What are the
Shoulders are
games
fun.
that you guys had, though? What was the activities?
There was 7 or 9. So there
Caber
was
toss, bale toss.
there was the light stone, the heavy stone.
Yeah.
There was also the special. So one of his.
I think we had light hammer, heavy hammer.
Yep. He was bringing along a shield, a 350-pound shield.
Oh yeah, the shield carrier.
that had money attached to it. Like
Yeah.
you had to pay money to get into it, and then whoever carried it
carried
the
the
furthest.
furthest. Yeah, took the pot.
That's the one you pick up with your arms like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would. That would be fun. I would like to move it 4 or 5 feet, but I don't know that I could. Probably.
Well, I saw one of
much
those.
further.
I saw a video. It was like this world's strongest man. It was like Eddie Hall and all those guys
The beast
carrying
that
the
he was
shield.
carrying it. He carried like fucking 30 feet or something like that. Wasn't
Well, he went to the end, came back, and then like
But only Eddie Hall did.
You're saying
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Eddie-
yeah. The other guys all like made it like 15 feet if you're lucky.
So
And
you're
these are the
saying-
strongest men in the world.
You're saying Eddie hold it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
just for Eddie.
Thank you.
He's stronger.
Yeah, I can't remember all of them. There was a bale toss in there, though. Yeah, and there was
caber.
There's caber toss. There was the sheaf toss.
Sheaf, there it is.
There was 2. There was one that was by hand and one with a pitchfork.
He even said, by the way, sorry, changing gears, I can remember him telling, well, we'll bring a real caber, and then we'll also bring a baby caber
Yeah.
for you guys. He literally
This was a
said
baby
that.
caber at your
Thanks,
wedding, right?
girl.
Like, that would have been
Oh, yeah.
baby.
No, that wasn't
like
a baby.
that was like a
micro caber.
Yeah,
Micro
yeah,
caber.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fetus caber.
Because a real caber is what, 40 feet? 20, 30
20.
feet? 20 feet? Oh, okay. 40, I guess 40 would be stupid.
For us dumb people, what's a cable?
It's a
Big
pole.
log.
It's a pole.
Big
It's
pole.
more of a log.
So-
It's a big
It's-
pole, something you have no experience with. Well,
is it in yet?
Well,
but okay, I'll reach out to him and we'll see what we can do it for next year.
Yeah.
That would be fun. It really would be. And anybody listening, it would be fun because do the stuff you can do, but we made it $20 or something like that, Tanter. I can't. It was
Yeah,
like
it
dirt
wasn't
cheap.
It was
Very
cheap.
much.
Yeah.
Dirt cheap. So just do what you can. So you're gonna throw a 8-pound stone as far as you can. Well, Bethany just did an 8-pound shot put. No.
just eating babies.
With a McDonald's spoon.
Now it sounds like Alan.
8-pound shot put, right? For track. So I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, if a 15-year-old teenage girl can do it, I think any male.
Well, we had a lot of
interest.
spectators.
Yes.
Oh,
Lots
yeah,
of people.
it was
wanted
gonna
They
be
were
packed.
very upset when it wasn't gonna go ahead.
Yeah.
I was so excited
I know
to see a
Jenny was
bunch
just-
of grown men in kilts throwing things.
That was
was
Jenny's
like
sentiment as well.
That was the
Yeah, that
biggest.
was Tilly's sentiment. That was Kara's sentiment.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that were
I loved
looking
it.
forward to that.
So it's official next year, Rock of the Rink, or this year. Next
Well,
year.
next year.
I mean, talk to him and see.
Okay.
Yeah, you still have
see
a
where
couple
it
of
is.
months.
I mean, I've already committed to the pancake breakfast this year, so that means I wouldn't be able to participate.
Like
so.
I know the heavy guy. I know the guys that
What's
do
that?
this.
2 eggs and a sausage.
I don't know. I'm gonna-
Yeah, they practice. I just need a couple shots of whiskey and I'll fucking convince myself to do anything. So
And then feel like
So
shit.
the pancake breakfast is 8 to 10, right?
No, I don't even know.
I heard every day anyways. It doesn't
So if we have a start time at 11,
Yeah, that could work.
right, for the
I'm cleaning
amateur
it up.
athletes, because he did have the professionals starting, and then the amateurs started after them.
Yeah.
to kind of give the professionals a break.
Could we have a separate section that makes it as the podcasters? And then we'll do the whole thing afterwards?
It depends. Are you a little bit more follow through with the wrist?
Fabulous.
Attaboy.
Yes, it would be attaboy, I suppose.
Oh god.
That was the Highland Games, not the California Games.
Well, that's why when he was on the cross, he was so pissed off. Wasn't the word he was looking for?
You need to
What?
stop. You're
I
done.
missed that.
Cancelled.
Where's the crickets? I gotta put the crickets on there.
It actually would be fun that we do the podcast at the games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could do it live.
We'll kind of
We could do
compete,
live
and then we
stream
do our
from
own
there.
little thing on the side.
Yeah. And we could actually have a few of the local yokels who haven't done it, like Steven and Reg and them. They could like maybe fill in while we were competing.
No, it'd be me and
They could
Leslie
heckle.
running the whole show.
Or that.
Yeah.
Sure.
There we go.
that.
I like
We
that
could be
idea.
the commentators.
Well, we could.
Heckle.
I watch a lot of
hecklers.
hockey, so
We could change the podcast over to the 4 Small Town Girls.
There you go.
there's only 2 of us.
Well, yeah, but we get
we can recruit.
Get
We can
Tilly and
recruit.
Jenny.
Yeah.
It's the
Oh my
height
god,
of-
that would be
right?
so fun.
So now
New
back to
plan.
the kitchen staff.
Okay, you know what though? Hang on, hang on,
You
hang
didn't make
on.
it to lunches that day, though. Get your hands off it.
I did say that one day at work. I don't remember if it was the turbo or the oil pan, but I got out from under the truck or whatever. I looked at Alan and I said, starting to think the kitchen wasn't so bad after all.
Well, what's the old saying that why women's feet are so much smaller than men's? So they can stand closer to the stove.
So what if mine are larger than average?
You got a bigger
You're
stove.
bad.
That's why you're a mechanic.
That's why you're not in the kitchen.
Apparently. No, I actually burned water once. I don't want to talk about it, but I did it.
People say that's a bad skill, but that
It's impressive.
I think
skill.
it was pretty good.
That's impressive.
No, I think a good solid nap will get you there, right? Because eventually it just boils out and you
If
come
it
back
boils
and
empty,
it's
you just
charred
melt
and
the
it's
pot.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just like the squirreling at that moment. I was just like, okay, yeah, gonna make some craft dinner. And 6 hours later.
One of my roommates, when I was in university, came back from the bar, and he had these copper bottom pots, and everybody but him passed out, and he decided he needed to make himself some ramen noodles, some ichiban, and in this copper pot. And he fires them in with some water, cranks it on high because, you need it now.
Yeah.
And passed out. And a little while later, it could have been 15 minutes, could have been 5 hours, I don't know. But I'm woken up to the fire alarm going off and me coming into a melted pot. I didn't know you could
Melt
melt.
copper.
I had no freaking clue. Like, I was like, I didn't even know.
Alexa, what's the melting point of copper?
Exactly.
Noodles.
It surprised the shit out of me. I never would have guessed that. I don't know how our fire alarm didn't go off with the noodles burning.
Obviously, you never hot knifed hash on the stove.
Where's the McDonald's spoon?
I'm happy that we have an air fryer because it switches off when you forget about it.
Ah.
Because there's some nights where I'm working 2-3 in the morning in the garage and I'm like, fuck, I'm hungry. I'm going to put something in the oven. Chuck it in and then wake up at 4 in the morning like, what's that smell? Ah, I made food. A lot.
It's done.
That's awesome.
No.
Cajun style.
Put a bun in the oven, you didn't have to wait 9 months.
No.
It's just jerky style.
Man,
No.
you guys gotta stop talking about food. I'm starving.
So when
past
you
my
get that steak
bedtime.
really simmered right, and the blood's oozing.
Time are we at there, Vince?
9:35.
9:35.
Yeah, we're still early. We're only an hour and 38.
Well, yeah, it's because we spent 40
Minutes.
minutes fucking
Yeah.
around trying to get this stuff working.
No, actually, this is an hour 38 minutes that we've been recording.
I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but I mean,
It hasn't cracked out
podcast
yet.
hasn't just randomly fucking shut off yet.
Let her go.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah. The FBI agents heard you.
I think it's carrying on because let's hear what else kind of shit we can come up with.
Right?
So how did this record if it wasn't connected to your computer? Does it store it on the device?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've just been talking.
I was a little worried there for a second.
Okay, so now that we have
like, I don't see
plan of what
that.
we're going to talk about.
All right, we're warmed up. Let's start recording.
I mean, we would have it on camera, but the audio might be a little off.
Who storyboarded this?
Sorry.
I think it was more about waterboarding.
Like putting out a script.
I know.
It's a creative process thing.
Yeah.
Come on.
You're talking to the one professional actor in the room here.
One of the professional actors in the
Hey,
news.
he just did a commercial for
I-
Rough
I-
Riders.
Yeah, but he's
Did
done
you?
a couple of plays.
I haven't
right?
seen any of your commercials on Facebook lately.
No, that is true. Hey, maybe I'm a retired professional.
I don't know.
I have been paid
He's
to
more
be in a movie.
I was going to say, more Shakespearean.
One movie credit.
Only. Yes, I'm not lying. I'm not going to say that I'm better than you or have had more.
That's like I was telling the girls today.
You're in a writer?
Yeah, the new 50/50 commercials that come out.
Seriously?
Yep.
Cool. What are you doing?
Shout out to
Played
Greg.
himself because he didn't have to act much for it.
I'm asking Greg if he bought his 50/50 tickets online.
Nice.
And he's like, I'm not in the game. And then he gets tackled.
I saw that.
I
saw that.
Doesn't look anything like him.
There you go. You shared that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
He doesn't have his glasses on, so, he's a bit of a stranger.
He's also not wearing his hair.
I really did.
I had the hair on my face.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
I really did enjoy your...
Redicop?
No, the weed killing, like when you were starting...
It was
Redicop.
Redicop.
What it was? Okay.
Yeah.
Funny thing, right? So that commercial...
Isn't it funny? I have no clue the company. I know he was in it.
That commercial came out,
6 months? 5 months ago?
Yeah, a while ago anyways.
Yeah.
So, and it had, it had lots of views. It was still reasonably seen kind of thing. And then it kind of tapered off a little bit. And then the Liberal election happened. All of a sudden, we got a whole spike of comments on this commercial where people were, because the voiceover at the beginning is like, every year they steal from us. Our time, our money, our yields. And everybody was like, I thought this was like an anti-liberal commercial.
Yes.
You should remix this as an anti-liberal commercial. This should be the conservatives' new ad.
If Redicop was smart, they actually would have kind of tweaked it just a little bit to make it an anti-American tariff commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because that would tie in, and it's like a whole new and with the old elbows up, like that's... Like,
Jay would be like, pull my name.
I'm not associated with that anymore.
You get the disappointed
Screw
dad
you,
look
sell
every
your soul,
time.
you'll do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they pay me enough.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
What were you going to say, Ken?
I said Vance gets the disappointed dad look every time.
Oh, yeah.
Every time.
I don't know if he's I don't know. Have you mastered the disappointed dad look?
He's got 5 kids.
That's
Show
my
me your
freaking kids.
No.
Okay.
Show me a face that you would be if you'd say you're disappointed at me.
Cailie
What
just
is the
got
face?
Ashley just got a face tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not looking at you.
1 sec, let me call my lawyer. I got to change the will.
She's up to probably like 20 tattoos, but she's slowed down, which is nice. She's actually started doing professionally hand poke tattoos, which is like the traditional style. Yeah. So she's like, I don't know how many she's done, but like she's like gets paid to do tattoos.
She actually does really good too. I've seen her TikToks.
Yeah, I haven't
and
seen
stuff.
any of the new stuff that she's doing.
Yeah, no, she actually does a really good job.
her
Like
last
they look
boyfriend-
just as good as a normal tattoo.
So
I mean, his art quality, her last boyfriend did not do well.
no, that wasn't her last boyfriend, and that guy, I still want to break his spine. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly. Her current boyfriend is actually a really good dude. Unless he's artificially generated, because I haven't met him yet. Right?
Google VO3.
And if
Figment of
he's
the Matrix.
listening, you've heard this joke before. We actually have said that to him multiple times. If you're real, we're looking forward to meeting you.
He's like Vera from Cheers, Norm's wife.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We could have him on the podcast.
But he seems like a good dude. He does seem like a good dude.
Are his tattoo skills better, or just stays away from it if he doesn't?
No,
want to do
he
it?
doesn't. He's a oil field consultant.
Oh,
Yeah, he makes good bank. So
Money.
100%. Yeah.
so he
What
can afford to
exactly
buy
is his
nice
job?
tattoos.
Yes, this is an oil field. Well, thank you.
You know what? You're 50% there. They also push a little bit of buttons and make the drill go into the ground. So
I could do that.
yeah. Well, and the guys who actually do the work are out there.
Yeah, the consultant does do that.
He just tells them what
oversees
sequence
that.
to do.
Yeah,
And then when he
Probably
leaves, the
forced
guys
the
that were
operator.
actually there like, just fucking do. You have this thing fucking set right.
I
Fucking
want
engineers.
I want more tattoos for obvious reasons. But I love the stereotype of tattoos make you look homeless. Dude, I have like just these 2 tattoos alone are like $700. So I don't know what part of homeless you think I
You're covered in
am.
tattoo. Well, I
did
mean, maybe
Ash
that's
ever
why
get
you're
you?
homeless.
What?
Did Ash ever get you?
No. I've got that one that I got done when I was 17, and I just got that one done for Dad's dad.
2 years ago,
Well, I know those are the only 2 though, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, because Ashley did get she got Laurel. I think she got Kate. She got a couple of you guys.
I left, and I wasn't as close with them to begin with. I was kind of like the outlier, really. Me and Danielle, shout out Danielle. Me and Danielle I was the closest with her, and I mean, I still am. I still talk to her.
She was the one that came like the last 2 years? Okay.
Yeah. I talk to her, I don't actually talk to anybody else. I see their lives on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm like, you go, girlfriend. But other than that, like, I don't talk to anybody. I wasn't the same. A lot of them went to university and school, and I seen a couple of them at the 125, and they're like, "Oh, where are you going to school?"
No,
I have 2 cents to my name. Like I'm not doing that. So.
But you know how to budget now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alan.
I love the course that Ashley took. It was literally like 3 months, and then she had a job. It was awesome. Airline stewardess. I mean,
You could do a 7-year master's degree in fucking gender equality studies, and try to get a job with that.
Yeah,
Still
yeah,
working
2
at
months you can
Starbucks.
work on the super yachts.
yeah.
And like that's the biggest thing. I hated school. I'm very much hands-on, so university was out of the question for that, but like I also don't want to be stuck with thousands of dollars in student loans for the rest of my life. Like that's
University
not,
is basically a waste of money nowadays.
yeah. And
No, hold on. We can't say university is a waste of money. Certain courses within university are a waste of money. Engineer, lawyer, doctor, vet. There's so many.
Have you met any
I can do
engineers?
everything they
They
do.
want to get punched in the fucking face.
That's where dodging.
So there are some good aspects to the engineering though, like electrical and stuff. Like there truly are, and they are necessary. And there are some good university courses out there, but I would argue there are very few arts and humanities university courses that are worth the paper they're written on. Mm-hmm. Honestly, there's 1 or 2 exceptions in there, but most of like economics, for example, teaches you how to analyze stuff critically, and literally, it is all about critical thought and analysis of numbers and situations, right? But other than that, there's.
But see, the problem is university isn't about educating people anymore.
It's about
It's about
indoctrinating.
indoctrinating people.
In a lot of the humanities side of things, yes, exactly. It's like regurgitate what we're thinking.
It's the society in general in universities.
How about
it doesn't matter what you're taking. It doesn't matter what your lecture is. The society in universities is indoctrinating people.
Also, how about this? A doctor studies for 7 years and he still practices.
That's why I don't go to doctors, man.
Well, it's pretty.
I think to Jay's point is the environment on campus. So regardless of the actual professor and the lesson that's being taught to, say, an engineer or commerce graduate or an economics major, the environment in university is so indoctrinating. The environment becomes the lesson. The medium is the message.
My understanding as an outsider looking in, and actually, so I got a degree a degree from university as well. And even back then, I do remember that I intentionally played the game and said stuff I didn't believe to get marks. Mm-hmm. I do remember that, and that was back in like 93, 94, right? What's presented to you on social media now is that it is even worse that way. But I am certain that there are still free-willed people within there that do the exact same thing. They just play the game and get through. But yes, there is very much.
I guarantee there is still people that are like you that are just saying what they need to say to get through it, to get their papers, and continue on with their life.
The biggest so go ahead.
But the vast...
I would say the majority.
But yeah.
No, I would agree with the majority.
I think the majority of the people are there to push the new indoctrination.
When I went there, I wouldn't say the majority, but there was
But you're also going back 30 plus years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It might have changed. I would like to think the sciences and the hard disciplines, whether it's like business administration or accounting or chemistry or whatever it is, I would like to hope they're mostly immune.
Remember, lots changed.
No, like I even saw
really
the
not.
the atom. They've got H2O now.
Like I would say, I even saw the infiltration in the Faculty of Commerce at the University of Manitoba. So I mean, the Faculty of Commerce was known as being like basically the right-wing Nazis at the University of Manitoba, and even then they were pretty far left wing.
Yeah.
Right. We have very left leaning professors. So the only outliers to that might be still a silo of, logical, just rational thought might still be engineering. But even then, like you talk about the sciences, it's like, well, what have we done with biology in terms of gender studies?
I was just about to go there.
Right.
Sure, but that's a massive subset. That
That's
is
a massive subset.
Sorry, that is a minor subset that gets maximum exposure right now because it is such a political hot point and it's bullshit.
But when you can't call out bullshit in your face,
censorship is evil.
But
right?
the censorship on university is taken to a whole other level compared to the general society.
Now,
if you even have a hint of being right wing or even centrist at a Canadian university, you are completely ostracized. Your professors will downgrade your marks. I started to see it I was in university for 5 years. My last 2 years university, I already started to see that shift. So that was 2007, 2008.
I was going to say mid-2000s?
Yeah, 2007, 2008. I already started to see that shift, and that pendulum swung far for the next decade or so after that.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what it would have been like.
I do think, though, we are getting...
Hello, it's for you.
I do think there's a backswing going on.
no.
I do think there's a push coming back against it. There's so many different small sectors of society that are swinging away from that extreme position more and more. And I think that pendulum... Okay. So the pendulum I'm talking about is that, like, typically throughout society, you go back and forth.
You're on camera. They can see it.
No, actually they couldn't. I just saw myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, the pendulum swings back and forth between extreme
Yeah.
viewpoints. And I do think that we've been way swung over to the one side recently, the left side, recently very hard. But I do think that we're swinging away from that. Mm-hmm. Conversely, as we get closer to the center, that's when it's going the fastest. So we're going to swing right past the center.
Yeah.
I don't think we're at the center yet. But
No.
See, I don't see us swinging past the center. I think as that pendulum is swinging back to the right, the whole pendulum is moving left. So
Possibly.
it's counteracting that. So it appears as if we're going to have this radical right-wing shift. I think because the whole, what do they call it? The Overton window has moved so far left.
Yeah.
It appears that you've gone extreme right-wing, but really you're talking about essentially democratic policies from the 90s as being extreme right-wing now.
Yeah.
But that's Trump's plan going back.
Yeah. That's why Trump is essentially a Republican now when he was a Democrat back in the 90s.
And yet his policies haven't changed.
Yeah.
But I'm in that generation of...
Trump's generation.
See that? Disappointing.
So that was just... I was just going to say disappointing.
See that? Yeah. I learned from the best. I'm in that generation of trigger warning. Oh my fucking God, get over yourself.
Right?
It is not
you're
my...
a touch young for the trigger warning. I think that was 3 or 4 years older, or 5 years older than you
Oh no,
guys.
it's so that's
Really?
Yeah.
everything. Like every goddamn post. There was this girl that does free cleanings and there was a spider infestation. Her post got removed because it didn't have a trigger warning for arachnophobia. I don't like spiders, okay? I absolutely hate them. But it's also not anybody else's responsibility to tiptoe around me. Mm-hmm. That makes me the fucking problem.
Yep.
And that's the victimization that everybody has this, victim...
The victim mentality. That's
Yeah,
going on, right?
complex. And you see that all the time with everything. Every goddamn thing. And the whole transgender thing. I don't care what you are. You could be a fucking Pop-Tart. And I literally don't care. Just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't tell you about my sex life as a straight woman, which apparently now I'm the fucking minority.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Cis woman, just saying.
Yeah.
You brought up cis, right? That whole pronoun
Need the disappointed
thing, right?
dad look again?
You don't need to know other people's pronouns. Like, that's the argument. Like,
doesn't
what are
matter,
you?
no.
He, him, or her,
Yeah,
he,
her,
they, or whatever it does. You're Jay, you're Andrew, you're Cailie, you're Tim. You don't need freaking pronouns. We have names, and that's really what matters, right? The rest of it's just frou-frou bullshit.
Like, the people I grew up with changed drastically with COVID. and the lockdown and, you know, the new societal norm that came out of it, these people that I grew up with, like, drastically changed. I'm like, I don't even know who you are anymore.
I do think that you're like plus or minus 2 years or whatever. You're like the teenage generation in COVID, like hard COVID 2020 to 2022.
Yeah.
And the teenage generations then, like the 14-ish, right, that were really locked in on social media and stuff at the time. The toddlers who are just learning how to talk, that had to put up with all of this and couldn't read lips. And senior citizens, I think they suffered more than anybody else.
Yeah, and like I was 15 when the lockdown hit, which is wild to think about now. And so I was even more chronically online than what I am now. And
there was more manipulation of those people in that 13 to 17 age range because it was all focused on social media
and fear
and
propaganda.
And everybody lost the attention they had.
Yeah,
they had the attention of friends and family, but then it went to nobody.
Yeah.
Well, your social networks collapsed. Right. So what you thought were your friends, your family, your connections, your network essentially went through complete rewiring.
So it overcorrected. So everybody is now heavily on, for example, that victim mentality.
Yeah.
We've always been on victim mentality, but for that part of it of, I'm so triggered. Oh, my car had a flat tire.
When you can make a joke about getting together with your family that Thanksgiving of 2020 was illegal.
Yeah.
And like the people that were there, but maybe not all of your family was there.
I know. You know, like, box is a little box about that big. Ash.
It was so funny to see the I don't even know how to word it, but like people that would be so for everything the media was saying, like don't do this, don't do this, don't do this,
and then they changed the message.
But then there would be that little thing. It was like, you can't have your family over for Christmas. Okay? My dad was all for this. You know, we got to do what they're saying. We got to, you know, protect everybody and slow the curve and all that kind of stuff. And then Christmas is coming up. And he's told that he's going to get fined if he has his family over for Christmas. He's like, fuck you. I'll pay the fucking fine then. Everybody come for Christmas. But there was that disconnect, though, because on one hand, yes, we need to do this. And then on the other hand, he's like, well, no,
but that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
And didn't see the hypocrisy in what was going on, right? And that was a challenge because, you know, you love and you care for those people, but it's like, how do you not see what's going on? Like, you literally don't like that policy to the point where you're gonna pay a fine to the government for having family over at Christmas? Like, what kind of totalitarian novel dystopia is this? Right? Like,
I was never the same after COVID. I literally became a hermit crab. I did go out, but I didn't go out unless there was drinking. Because I literally...
As a way to escape.
I couldn't function.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to socialize. I didn't know how to be a human. And by drinking, you take the edge off. Yep. So, and I really didn't have any friends. I still don't have any friends. I have Danielle. So, I didn't know how to function. And I did get COVID, whatever that might be. And it was awful. Whatever the hell that is, whether it was made in a lab or it is, whatever it is, it was brutal. And I genuinely, health-wise, have not been the same since.
See, and I caught it twice, and it was like fucking whatever.
So
yeah, I ended up in the hospital.
Varrick's always gotten really sick every winter or second winter, where he's like he's been hospitalized probably at least 6 times and maybe more than that from flus and illnesses. Every time he got COVID, nothing burger. Like, it was the best thing for him.
Yeah.
Because he was a healthy young man. And COVID didn't impact healthy young men, right? Normal colds did, right?
Yeah,
I know myself.
And then the shot killed your heart.
Yeah.
Well, for you healthy young men, potentially, right? Yeah. I mean, the odds still are against it happening.
Yes.
But it might, right? Way worse outcomes for healthy young men than just the illness.
And right? Depending on the age range,
yep.
Potentially the outcomes, the negative outcomes from the shot versus the actual COVID for healthy men was worse to have the shot than to have COVID.
For sure. Yeah. But that's not true across everything.
No, and different age, the older you got, the more it was, potentially impactful and things like that. So, I will acknowledge that data set, but to
hesitantly and with angst,
I don't want to admit it, but yeah, if you're an old person, okay, well then, maybe there's a case to be made. But giving the COVID shot to basically anyone under the age of 18 made no under the age of 18, almost made no
healthy. No, there were some exceptions.
No, right? Because the negative outcomes from the shot, on the data that's been released since then, of the negative outcomes for those under 18, even if you weren't healthy, then the shot had negative health outcomes if you weren't healthy to begin with. Because you had a weakened immune system to begin with, and then you throw the shot on it, throws your immune system into an overreactive cytokine storm, which wreaked havoc on people with compromised immune systems.
And they also were sneaking in the shot into immunizations of babies and kids and all kinds of shit.
Well, and my biggest concern with all of it is that mRNA is a new technology. They thought it had certain advantages, blah, 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 with vaccines. Yet we still had this other older type of technology that was proven.
But they threw it the window.
And we weren't allowed to have access to it. Mm-hmm. And now they're encouraging mRNA, even though it is introducing a novel style of immune reactant into our system that our bodies aren't designed, because it's synthetic, our bodies aren't designed to interact with. When we're given the chance, why would we not do the traditional that has 165 years worth of tracking history?
I would even argue some of the lesser talked about the nanolipid particles. Mm-hmm. Right, so this is the delivery mechanism that breaches the blood-brain barrier. So even though that hasn't received as much attention as the negative effects of the mRNA technology, the fact that we've now got a delivery mechanism that breaches the blood-brain barrier opens up a Pandora's box for potential hazards down the road. So I know there's vitamin companies out there. I mean, John Chick's got one that, he was in talks with of, that these are products that are going to boost your immune system and all these things. But I'm like, you're still using a technology that came out under very nefarious circumstances. And there's the potential to somebody at the factory doesn't like something, not a conspiracy theory, but maybe somebody, a disgruntled employee. Who's to say they don't put something into a vitamin supplement that uses nanolipid particles that now can impact through the blood-brain barrier? Like it opens up more potential harms that not that I'm a Luddite in terms of new technology, but you're playing with dangerous mechanisms.
And follow the money, right? Yeah. Like how many times do the vast majority of society have issues with people making too much profit off of things, and we have a generic thing that can deliver what we want with a lower profit margin? Why are we so appreciative of something that costs 50 to 100 times as much with a much higher profit margin for when we claim that these companies are evil?
Yeah.
Pfizer is the most fined company in history by a landslide.
Aren't they being taken over now too?
Probably. I have no idea. I should know.
I heard something somewhere that they're being taken over by Big Pharma, one of those companies, the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the biggest things for corruption that that I personally have a connection to is the EpiPen. So this is something that when I grew up in the 90s, EpiPens had kind of just come out, or at least that they were available to me as a kid. I can't remember what they cost back then. I think it was like $90. Well, now they're like $700.
What?
Yeah. For an EpiPen. Now, it varies by geographic region. So in the States, they're more. In Canada, maybe they're, 500 or 400. But the price for something that is literally epinephrine in an auto-ejectable, safe delivery device, I mean, the device itself costs pennies to make because it's essentially injected molded plastic. Like, it's just the idea that kind of a product, which can save countless lives, is that expensive. It just drives me absolutely nuts.
I actually have like a connection to that too. When I had my migraine, I was in and out of the hospital several times. Of course, they turned to the opioids, the heavy painkillers, and I was like, this is awful. Like, stop treating the symptoms, treat the root cause, which of course we never found. My neurologist had given me some free samples of some migraine medications. And of course, the one medication that worked is the one that's not covered.
Yeah.
It's $400 a month, and I get 4 pills for the whole month.
Yeah, Narcan is free.
$100 a pill, so that I can...
Narcan is like naloxone?
Yeah, for drug overdoses. Yeah.
Which I actually don't have a problem with that being free or cheap. I want EpiPens to be that cheap and free.
Well, why is the treatment for somebody that's made a conscious decision to fucking be in that situation free, but somebody that's born with an allergy that's going to fucking die has to pay?
Yeah, I've gone to restaurants where I've specifically told them, I've got this allergy. And then they had a chef in the back that, I used cashews mixed with peanuts in there. It's like, I literally told you I have a deathly allergic allergy to peanuts.
Yeah.
Have I ever accidentally tried to kill you?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, that's good. Yay,
Maybe on purpose, but...
Yeah.
A friend of mine, one of the first times I ever went to a bar with him, we were all doing upside down margaritas at, can't remember if it was Checkers or Delbert's in Regina. That's a long time ago.
That's
90s.
Sure was the Bartlefest? Oh,
anyway, we're doing upside down margaritas. And he asked me, what's in it? I said, tequila. He's like, okay, let's do it. And we drink it. And he looks up at me and says, what's in that? And I said, tequila. He says, no, what else? And I said, I don't know. He's like, is there lime in there? I'm like, probably.
Yes.
And he's like, I'm allergic to lime. So, and he turned into a pretty good friend. Yeah. So, one of the first times I ever partied with my friend.
Was it after he turned purple from not breathing?
Everyone's allergic to lime.
I think he jabbed himself. I can't remember. We were doing upside down margaritas, so clarity, yeah. But it was honestly the first time I partied with the dude I tried killing him. Mm-hmm. So
thankfully, I didn't get a peanut butter shot from you, so we're good.
Anyways, kind of bit of a downer note here at the end of the podcast. A little serious topic.
Friendly murder's never downer.
Whatever. It is what it is. We're demonetized from COVID again, so fuck you, government. Fuck
EpiPen, I will take sponsors.
And if you want to sponsor us, give a shout out. Otherwise, fuck off. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Bicycle.